Astro Man, be with me. I love you, brothers and sisters in my family. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. This is 11 p.m. exactly on the East Coast, and you're watching Encounters, the spiritual UFO talk show, the number one spiritual UFO talk show on social media. And I'm your host, CmdrAleon. I work with the Astro. I am part of the Astro Command. I should say work with them. I'm from that level of consciousness. I'm also a talk show host of WESU's long-standing show on NPR Pacifica Radio, Cosmic Eye. That's right, for 21 years. Busting the Matrix on Facebook, Busting the Matrix right here on TikTok, and all my shows are now updated. We had an incredible show last night, and that show is now on my YouTube channel. All our shows are now updated, and tonight's show will be recorded, and then it will be added onto YouTube by tomorrow. Hey, Scrub USA, everybody coming in here. I see you all, River Blue, everybody sharing the show. I got a lot more energy than I did last night, but then again, I got amped up after I helped J&M Antiques when she was on. When I heard what happened to her, I just went into Ashtar mode, and I all of a sudden had all this energy come through me, and we were doing some work. If you didn't watch last night's show, we had a great program. Brandon, who had an encounter with a sighting, he explained and shared his story. Then we had Jane and Antiques. If you heard her last night, it was totally wild last night, and I had to go to a level of energy that I've never had to do before with the situation she was in. And we sent 15 Ashtar Command people off a ship at her location in Michigan, because these ETs, they were nasty, and we had to really go at it with them. But we, at the end of the day, or at the end of that program, we still have the space people there. I told her they will be there until they're absolutely certain that there's no problems. So she's protected indefinitely until we feel that they are totally gone. And I've never had to do that before. That was the first time I had to keep the space people there for a while. It was a lot of work, but it also amped me up when I heard her story, what happened to her. I was in a galactic mode of like, this isn't happening. No negative ETs are going to affect this woman and do what they're doing to her. And we had the command go in there, and they're taking care of it. Hey, One Toyota, good to see you. Tower, good to see you. So this is, for those folks watching this show, this is not your normal UFO show. We're not like a nuts and bolts thing where we're talking about, what was the spaceship made of? What material was it made of? Who cares? We get into the depths of the subject. We get into people that had beautiful encounters with space people that need help who have been abducted by extraterrestrial intelligence, people that have had Bigfoot sightings or communicating with Bigfoot, the fairies, the mer people. We get into disclosure. Hey, Catherine. Hey, sassy little mama. So here, hey, Sue, we get into all the important things. And right here on TikTok, this is a UFO talk show. This is not like a free-for-all, like you've seen the free-for-alls on TikTok. When I first came to TikTok, I saw all the garbage that was free-for-alls where people were yelling and screaming, talking over each other like little kids. No, this show is for definitely people that are spiritually, cosmically mature enough to watch a UFO spiritual talk show. And I've been trained in media since the 70s. I started out in Vermont on Pacifica Radio affiliate at my college, and I got trained by the best people, So, and then I'm a contactee beyond that. On my cosmic resume, I'm a contactee from the 60s. I had positive contact with space people when I was a kid. I've seen numerous, probably if I had a count from the 60s to now, I've probably seen hundreds of spaceships, throughout my life. And they're all been positive. I never had a negative encounter because I didn't come from this level. I came from the Ashtar Command, came here to have the human experience. I'm a star seed, So just give some background what a star-seeded, the defining star-seed is. You are star-seeded, you have human parents, but you're not from this particular planet. You are from another planet somewhere out there. It could be anywhere in the universe, but not from here. So that's my definition of the star-seed. And many of you are star-seeds. And let's see here. So welcome everybody to the show. As usual, we never know what's going to happen, what we're going to have to deal with. But that's the beauty of what I do here. It's spontaneous. It's always spontaneous. And it's been a really beautiful. I'm from the universe. Of course you are. You're a human being from the universe. And you're awakened enough to say, yeah, I am from the universe. If you know what planet you come from in the universe, that's even better. Of course. Hey, user 691, welcome. Jane, hello. Andrew C. Humper, I was from Mars like you. Hey, Maya. Yes, see, so you remember. And I meet a lot of people over the last recent years that are from Mars. It's good to meet another person that remembers they're from Mars. And we know that Mars is inhabited by 10 to 15 million inhabitants that are human spiritual beings that live within Mars, and also because the oxygen level on Mars now has, over the many, many years, gotten to the point where you can go on the surface and breathe. You see Mars has a blue sky like the Earth, and there's been a lot of misinformation about our planet Mars. It's a very, very beautiful planet. Diane says, I'm from Sirius. See? I love when people can be forward about, hey, voice of one that can be, 30 years ago, people wouldn't have said I'm from this planet or that planet. But now everyone's coming out of the closet, which I definitely support. I'm a big proponent of disclosure, and then disclosure, hey, Gary, means people coming out of the closet and saying, I know where I'm from. I know I was born here with Earth-based parents, but I know what planet I come from. I know what solar system I come from. And that's because you came from that place of remembering. You've woken up. You have waken up your consciousness, right? Beautiful thing when I hear that from people making comments in the audience here. Great to see all of you. Really. Good to see everybody here. Hey, GFL. Good to have you with us. Jesse G. Welcome to the show, everybody. We always like to welcome people on our broadcasts, like, so we do a show. So, a lot of times people do things and they don't even acknowledge anybody. I try to do my best. I'm not perfect at it, but I do know you're all out there. So understand, if you're here, you're in the right place. Mary Dixon, welcome. iClouds of Rainbow Iris, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it. And we've set our goal. We always set our goal. Our goal for tonight is going to be the hat with the mustache. I love the hat with the mustache. Jojo, thank you for the heart. You may also use my Venmo app, which is part of PayPal. Venmo is on my main page. There's a link to it. As you watch my show tonight, if you decide to do a donation, I will once in a while mention Venmo. Hey, Darren Wheeler. And I have no problem mentioning it. You can donate $5 or $10. That's great. That helps all the work we're doing. Hey, Bernie, good to have you with us. My thoughts, Josh, on David Icke. I'm familiar with him for many years. I'm not really quite sure. I haven't really made up my mind, even this day and age in 2024. I'm still kind of like trying to figure him out a little bit, But I am very, very familiar with David Icke and the work that he's done. Absolutely familiar with it. Bill, welcome to the show. D. Wayne, Monkey Dog. Well, hey, thank you, Mystic Marvin. Trahar, I can say that. There's a certain word I say when they give me the hat sometimes. Soulful Sweet 8, good to see you. Thanks for the share. M1A2, a goofy name. That's interesting. Jacoby, are you familiar with the UUO? I have no idea what the UUO is. I know what the UFO is, but the UUO, no. I don't know what that is. I hope you're doing well, Jacoby. Vicky, thanks for the follow. Texas Spoiled. And we're amped up tonight, so I'm like really energized. Last night I was tired from being on a 2-hour ferry ride, to see all these various in New England off the coast of Long Island Sound. We have lighthouses, so we went to see lighthouses, my better half, and we went to the Rhode Island side and saw Point Judith. If you're in New England, we got that far, and then at that point you're in the ocean. So we were turning around from Port Judith and headed back into New London. But we saw all the lighthouses, and it was kind of, it was great. But man, I got home and I was like kind of tired. I said, I'm doing my broadcast last night, but I ended up getting amped up when I had to help somebody. I just switched over to Cosmic Ashtar Command Consciousness. Creative, thank you for the bracelet. We appreciate it very much. Hope everyone's doing well out there. And, what we do here is we interview people. I also express my knowledge with you. And I have a lot of knowledge. I'm like a cosmic book. I don't have to, write the book. I am my own book. Many times when you become fully activated and awakened from another planetary system and you're in this human body, this is like the human bodysuit, right? But in truth, your consciousness is not of earth consciousness only. It is of cosmic consciousness. It's of Christed consciousness. And, it's of the galactic consciousness. Last night was definitely something else, and it's all recorded. And if you missed it and you want to see the show again from last night, I just posted it over an hour ago on my YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. I did some, and it's really important to talk about this. There are these ETs that have affected people. Dawn 747, good to see you. And you saw it last night that you've never seen me go at the level I had to go to last night with the command. I went all out. I was not happy with these ETs that were bothering this woman for all these years, hiding in her, her attic and possibly her basement. So I had to bring 15 Ashtar Command people from the ship to her location last night. I ended up having to do that, and at that point I would say, I'm not having any of this. I said, the command's not going to have any of this. I don't care how many these ETs are. We're gonna get them, and we're gonna, get them, and they're going to be out of her house and out of her environment. And we ended up quarantining them, and I ended up making a decision with the command telepathically that we should stay with her for a while. So they're still with her, and they will stay with her until they're absolutely certain that there's no more interference in her life. And she's a very beautiful, gifted person, and they, and a gifted person can be taken by some of these negative ETs because they don't know that they're coming in. But we took care of the situation last night. If you watch my show consistently, I started doing this kind of stuff about several months ago, last year. I started being activated to send ships over where people were being abducted, and I've helped every single one of them. Now, I'm not doing anything. I am doing it. I'm sending the ships over. I am an Ashtar commander, besides being a talk show host. So I'm very well respected by the people on the ships. And, they won't have any of it. I won't have any of it. I'm not afraid of anything. When it comes to my commander work, if you're a negative ET, I'm going to kick your cosmic, what. We're going to do it. The command's going to do it. And that's exactly what we do. Now, I want just to be the talk show host and have an interactive discussion. But sometimes when I hear the stories, hey, J&M Boutiques, and the command's with JMN, good to see you. I hope everything's well. The command is still with you. We're keeping the command there with you for a while until we feel everything is clear. We're glad to have you here. And she was my guest last night, and we helped her last night. And I'm so happy for you. We had the command work on implants that they had put into her. We had all the implants taken out. And I'll tell you, those negative ETs were something. I'm going to have her come on for a minute and let people hear your story about how things are right now. I think you deserve to be on here. So I'm going to bring her on, J&M Boutique. I hope my technology stays bright. We kicked some butt last night, folks. The Ashtar Command, we went all out last night. The Bermuda Triangle? Yeah. It's not called the Bermuda Triangle, it's the Bermuda Triangle. I think you meant to say Bermuda Triangle, not Permuda. No, I don't know the Bermuda Triangle, but a Bermuda Triangle, yes. Hey, sweet bees. Oh, okay, you have company, enjoy your company. But I'm glad everything is doing well. We are keeping the Ashtar people. They're the 15 space people from the ship. All the Christed people of light, they're with you now. They're staying with you for a while. They're working on checking everything, scanning the area. I'm glad things are much better for you. And matter of fact, every area of your house was scanned last night, and they cleaned house last night. So yeah, you feel much better. Good. I'm glad you feel much better. I am so happy for you, JNM. You won't believe it. But we're gonna definitely keep them there permanently for the moment until just to make sure, because some of these ETs are sneaky, but we're not gonna let them come back. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. The command loves you. I love you, and we'll never let any of that kind of stuff happen to you. Never. And you enjoy your company. Now they can be in your house, your actual physical company, and not have to have all that negative ET energy there anymore. Okay. I'm glad you're doing good. And this is what I'm talking about, folks. This is what I do. I'm able to do this. Now, there are people, out there doing things that aren't doing anything. Oh, you're all watching. Oh, good. Well, I hope you're giving them some food or something while they're watching, some dessert or something. Maybe some apple juice or apple cider, because that's my drink anyway. But we're glad they're all watching. Hey, Hetty. So it's really important to understand now, as we get close to contact, people that have been abducted or having negative ETs interfere in their homes or apartments or condos or whatever, when I hear those stories and people say, Commander, I've got a problem. Now I'm not just a talk show host doing a UFO spiritual show. I got to go into Ashtar mode. And you see me go into Ashtar conscious mode, and I am able to do what I do. So basically, I'm walking the walk and talking the talk. I don't fool around when things like that happen. I won't let people suffer like that with negative ETs. I can't do it. I'm not supposed to do it. And we have many, many ships coming to Earth now. Many of the fleets of light are coming every single day and every single night, every single moment. Wherever you are, they're coming. Oh, Deidre, good to see you. Hey, thank you for your love. So if you're new to my show, that's why this show is number one, because of what I do. I'm not a suit and tie guy interviewing former military officials about, when are we going to have disclosure, General Jones? Can you tell me when it's going to happen? You're a former general. Can you tell us what they know? Yes, Sarah says, thank you. Drop your phone, Riverblue. Okay, we can't have that happening. Giselle, I might want to have you on. Who have you seen 6 times in your area? Can regular people be taken over by entities from Alpha Centauri? I'm interested in talking to you about this on the show. Gladys Q. Kavitz, what do you mean? And Gazelle, can you tell me about the 6 times you've seen who in the 6 times in your area? Can you explain? Yeah, the contact is going to be starting to happen towards late 2025 into 2026. It was originally 2027. The timeline has actually sped up. Like star seeds. Let me go back to your first part of your comment. Star seeds cannot be taken over. A star seed is someone who comes from another world beyond Earth. So when you come to Earth and you are a human being and you remember that you came from, maybe you say you came from Alpha Centauri or you came from another planetary system, then you are a star seed, Gladys. So Gladys, are you a star seed? I'm just trying to give you a definition of what that is. At the same token, Gazelle, we're going to see if you'd like to come up, Gazelle. Here's how our guests works here. This is really good. So you have to be over 18, no kids on the show, no foul language whatsoever, no smoking, no vaping, no drinking, no drunks, no paranormal discussion, just strictly in the what I deal with here, which is the cosmic and galactic and all the other stuff related to that. The spiritual UFO areas, contactees, abductions, mer people, mermaids, like I said, the fairies, also Bigfoot. We get into all these things, the inner earth, the people that live in the Agartha network. So this is really a show where you're going to learn about things, hear people's stories and experiences, and we're going to see if Gazelle, if I can get you on here, I'd like to have you on as a guest. If you will press the, let's see who it is. Let's see here. So I want to get Gazelle up here. Being the host of the show, I will see if she can come up. I want to hear Gazelle's story, Ship's Strange Lights. And Gazelle, I'd love to have you up here. I'm a contactee. I've had experiences since I was a kid. I know a lot. There goes my, oh, there you go. There goes my, had it. Thank goodness I have a lamp close enough here to switch over to. Hey, welcome, Gazelle.
Oh, thank you. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, I'm so happy you came up. You know, I was reading your post, what your comments were, and I think I have to talk to you and find out a little bit about your background. So can you tell us a little about, when things started happening and when, in terms of all this stuff?
So this started happening around 2016. And I live in the Jersey Shore. I was in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I moved to Cape May, New Jersey, which isn't that far. And 5 other times I've seen the lights. I've also seen a big round crystal looking ball that floated up to my window.
Wow.
And yeah, I was standing there like, I think I was in shock, of course, because this was new. And it floated away. It floated away and just disappeared. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So the crystal thing, that really is amazing. So when you were seeing this crystal thing, can you tell us about what it looked like and what happened?
It looked like it had a gold perimeter just surrounding it. Mm-hmm. And it was really clear. It just floated up to my window. I was up at dawn, and I was just wondering, like, where did this come from? I was just in shock, total shock.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
And then it just floated away.
Mm-hmm.
But it came right up to my window.
Now, did you get that it was an object? Like, was it like, do you think it was a consciousness type object, or do you think it was, what do you think it was?
I still don't have the answer to that one. Mm-hmm. I've never heard a story like that from anybody, so I am not certain.
Mm-hmm. And what about your other sightings? Can you tell us about each one of these sightings and if any of them were different and how they affected you?
Yes. The first one looked like a silver, like tic-tac shape. Mm-hmm. One was like an orange triangular light. I thought it was what are those things up way up? What do you call them again?
What do you mean way up? Well, you say it was a triangular type craft?
Yes, it was a triangular craft. It moved in like a semicircle when I was looking out my window. I thought it was a satellite maybe. Mm-hmm. And then not even a minute later, this thing comes flying over my roof and going straight ahead. There was also an incident.
Are you saying that the triangular craft came flying over your roof?
Yes.
How big was it?
Well, not it wasn't that low to my roof, but it
Hmm.
flew right overhead me.
Right, like
Overhead
like a
my
couple, could it be a couple 100 feet up, 1,000 feet up, maybe, or
um probably more like 1,000 feet up. But it
that's
was
still pretty
way
low.
up before when I first saw it. It was further up when I saw it. And
Yeah.
then it just came straight ahead, straight
Wow.
over me.
Hmm. Hmm.
There was another incident where this light just went speeding by and a black helicopter came down right, like my front yard type thing. This
Hmm.
helicopter came right down and then it took off again. I
Hmm.
guess it was chasing the light.
So that you wait. So
Uh,
was there? Let's deal with that one too. So you had the light, and then there was was it a military helicopter?
I just saw a black helicopter. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
Okay. So a black helicopter, I know all about this stuff. The unmarked black helicopter is what our government, it's military.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So there, it was probably chasing the object that you were seeing.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe it
absolutely.
was.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. I know what the unmarked black helicopters are. I've seen them.
Okay.
And what happened after
Yeah, that
that?
was. Well, they just took off. I mean, but they just came down so low. It was so loud. The chopper, I've never been around a chopper. It was just so loud. It was just so much happening.
Oh,
My
yeah.
neighbors were running outside. Everybody was just like, what is happening? But we're also close to like a military base down here.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Um, so I don't know if that has anything to do with all this activity around.
Well, military bases tend to. What's the name of the military base? Do you know?
The Coast Guards.
Oh, it's okay. Well, Coast Guard's not really military, but it's near the Coast Guard facility, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe say Air Force or actual
No,
military
nothing like
base.
Navy or Air Force.
Okay,
But I
all right.
do see military planes fly by,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
so.
Well, there's probably somewhere in the region a military base somewhere away from you, but yeah, interesting. So the unmarked helicopter was real loud, and everyone come out looking at it, and it's probably going after that other object that you were looking at that you just explained about. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it was an all black chopper. All black.
All black. Yeah, it's an unmarked
Yeah.
military helicopter. Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever have any in your life any encounters with extraterrestrial intelligence?
I
I get the
don't
feel.
recall any.
Yeah. You don't recall any.
I
Okay.
don't personally recall any.
Okay. I always like to ask, and that's fine. Interesting. You had some interesting stories here.
No,
And
thank you.
when did these different sightings happen? What year again? What are all these sightings happening for you?
2016.
2016.
2016.
And they all
Yes.
happened within the same month or within that whole year?
No, this was like, 2016, then
Hmm.
2017, then two
Hmm.
in 2018, one in
Yeah.
20. It was just, once a year I would
Hmm.
see it. I haven't
Hmm.
seen anything in the last year,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been since then. I never even thought about UFOs before 2016.
Right. No, I believe
So
you. So since that time, now you're like, are you like reading and learning more about the subject? That you've had some experiences.
I am learning about so much.
Hmm.
2020 was the year when we were staying inside and I got to learn so much. I went inside uh, and now I'm here watching your show.
Well, I appreciate that, Cassell.
I
I
love
appreciate.
learning. I love
Oh,
learning.
We appreciate you. Without you, we wouldn't be here, and vice versa. So we're glad you're here. And I wanted to
Yeah.
bring you up to share some stories. And of course, as you watch my show, you'll find how many times you've watched it, but become addicted to it. You'll hear all kinds of people that have
This
had
is my
abductions. Second time. Well, great. There's
second
always going to be
time.
very spontaneous show. All my past shows, when you have a chance, go on my YouTube channel. It's Ashtar Command Spaceship News. I had a phenomenal show last night. We helped a woman who has been abducted, and we sent some space people to her location to take care of the situation. You're going to find out that I'm not your normal talk show host, so you're going to find a lot of things on this show.
Can I just say one more thing before I,
Absolutely,
get
absolutely. Go
off?
right ahead.
I had gotten a download. I would call it a download for some reason. That I have a daughter. Her name is Clea. She's not on this planet. That's what I got a download of one particular time.
Her name is Clea.
Her name is Clea, and she's on a ship.
Gazelle, I didn't want to say anything before when I asked you, have you had any visitations? I knew in
Yes.
my inner, I can read energy. I know you've had you don't remember it. You've had contact. You had
Possibly,
contact.
yes.
And what did she look like? Do you remember what she looked like?
She had like this reddish brown hair with these big, huge green eyes.
Green eyes.
Yes, but
And
they were large, like
how tall is she?
She appeared to, well, if I'm judging age-wise, she appeared to be like 8 years old.
8 years old. Okay.
She appeared to be.
And she appeared to you. So she was she very human? Like, obviously she's human, correct?
She was human, yes, but her eyes were different. They were large, like very large.
So they were very like greenish kind of eyes she had.
Yes.
Interesting. I knew there was something. I didn't want to say anything. When you told me you didn't have any visitations, something told me that I can't say anything right away but I read people's stories, and I knew you were a contactee. I think you also were taken on a spaceship, and I think you had interaction with space people. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember any of this, but I think you have had that happen to you.
Well, I have 3 children, but there was one time I was pregnant, and when I went to the doctor, they were like, "Yeah, there's no heartbeat. The baby's not there." And so, I was just confused. I didn't understand what was happening.
You're confused.
Yeah.
And so this daughter of yours, this 8-year-old child, when did you realize that when did this download happen?
During a meditation of mine.
And when was that
It's
meditation?
not like I was.
Yeah.
It's not like I was. It just downloads started coming through, and then I started to ask Clea, if I can see her, and I saw her on a ship. She showed me like a class, not a typical classroom like on Earth, but she was just showing me around. So
when she showed you around on the ship, can you give my audience a description of like what you saw? Did you see any other people? What did she show you? What did you see?
I saw other children there. I was basically in the room where they learn, and there were just other children there. I was just looking around, and I can't really tell you what the ship looked like, but I was in the room
Mm-hmm.
where the other children were. She was just showing me around.
So you see all these other children. Did you see any adults?
At that time, I don't recall seeing adults.
No adults. Okay, and that's fine.
At that time,
But
yeah.
at that time, she was showing you around. When did you have this happen? What year was that on?
This was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, 2020. Okay, so only 3 years ago. That's pretty amazing.
Yes, yes.
Sandra's asking in the audience, did the kids you were seeing that she was showing you around, all these kids, did the kids in the classroom seem happy? Did
Oh,
you notice anything
it
about the
was
kids?
yes, it was very calm.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed so loving.
Really?
It was just beautiful. Yes, it was
Hmm.
just a peaceful spot, a
Hmm.
peaceful area to be in.
Wow.
Yes,
You're telling us a beautiful story, and I believe you were probably not dreaming it. You were at that moment taken on board a spaceship.
okay.
Yeah, no, you
I'm
were. You were
open.
taken on.
I'm
You were open. You were taken on the ship. You just don't remember. You remember being on the ship. The human consciousness is a weird thing. The human being can
hmm
sometimes it's a little bit complicated, but you were definitely taken on the ship, not thinking you were on the ship, but you were actually on the ship because you were walking around with the 8-year-old daughter, and she was showing you all these beautiful children that were really happy and at peace. So I think the ship you're on was a ship of star people that were very
Yes,
positive. I don't know who they are, but obviously you had nothing but a beautiful experience, correct?
just beautiful. Just
See, there you
beautiful.
go. And that's what I'm getting, you know.
And I'm
Uh,
wondering if all these lights I'm seeing are they my star family? Or are you just coming to
mhm,
say hi? We're here. We see you.
yes. The crystal structure that came towards your window, how
Yes.
big was that? Do you remember?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I would say it was okay, like maybe like eight 8 feet.
8 feet. It was 8 feet in height,
The radius.
radius
Oh
eight
wait,
feet.
is that the
It,
diameter? Diameter?
well, the round one, the crystal structure that you coming towards
Right.
you, how big was that?
I would say 8 feet all around, like all around 8 feet.
Okay, and that's okay. 8 feet. That's fairly large. And in the area
Yes.
you're in, where it was coming towards the window, are you in like a country area, a suburban area? Where are you located?
Well, we have a lot of trees and woods around.
Okay, I just want to know.
Yeah, there are a lot of
So,
trees.
so 2016, all that happens. Then 3 years ago, you're taken aboard a ship by your daughter, who's 8 years old, and you get a tour of a classroom where the kids are, and they're all human, and they're all happy. And I'm trying to piece
Yes.
it all together really quickly. I believe you were taken on a space. Not only you remember you were taken on a spaceship, you didn't get to see the adults, but I also want to suggest something to you.
Okay,
I
I'm
want to
listening.
suggest I want to suggest that you can meditate and go back into that space, connect with your child, and also with the space people on that spaceship, because there are adults on that ship. You just got to see the kids in the
Yes.
classroom, and I think that
Yes.
you already know what's happening. But my guidance is for you to actually really do some focus and remember. Just like all you have to do is remember your daughter and call out
Yes.
to her name in your meditation. Call her name. She will communicate with you because you're already telepathically connected, and also you're physically
Okay.
connected. Even though she's on a spaceship somewhere, you can go back on that ship with her and meet the people on that ship. I truly believe this to
Okay.
be
I
the
will.
case.
Also, 3 years ago, I heard the name whispered right past my ear, and this name said Jakaiba. I
Jakaiba.
didn't know what Jakiber was. I've never heard that word before.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there was a female voice that whispered Wusvata, like
Wasfata and
Zeus,
Jakaiba.
like how Zeus is
Mm-hmm.
written
Mm-hmm.
Wusvata. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried to like break down the I couldn't find the words anywhere
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
Google, and so I tried to break down the syllables.
Mm-hmm.
And for Wus, WEUS,
Mm-hmm.
all I could find is we evolve us.
Oh, wow.
But
So
Wus.
you now, when did you hear?
Mhm.
When did you hear? When did you hear the male voice and the female voice? Can you give our audience like what year it was? When did that happen?
That was also like 3 years ago.
The same time when you actually met your 8-year-old daughter who took you on the spaceship,
Hmm.
correct? Yeah, I think that
Yes.
you're. I think those two people, if you remember their names in your meditations, ask for them and ask them who they are. What you have a connection to all three. Obviously, your daughter, but the other two adults, one's an adult, male and female. You need to get to talk to those folks again in your inner meditation using telepathy.
Yes. I know Jakaiba is Pleiadian and
Palladian.
Pleiadian, yes. And Wusvata, I'm not sure. I've been on a couple of trips with her. Like I
Hmm.
go to wherever she is. I'm walking
Mm-hmm.
on this little road, dirt road. There's flowers everywhere, and I come across a
Mm-hmm.
building. I open the door, and she's in there. It's just an all white room.
Hmm.
Uh, and she welcomes me, and she is blue with blue hair.
Blue
Uh,
hair.
yes, that's Uzbata. So,
So, so she's pronounce her name again. I don't want to mispronounce it.
Wusvata,
Wusvata.
Wusvata. Yes.
Okay, Wusvata, and she's a Palladian woman, correct?
No, I am not sure where she's from, but Jakaiba, Jukaiba, is Pleiadian. And
Oh,
when I looked
Jakaiba.
up what, right, Ju, when I looked up what does Ja mean? And it says it means beloved one.
Beloved one, beautiful.
And
Now,
yeah, and then,
Jakaiba,
mhm.
go ahead.
Well, I have it written down. I don't remember. I have to go back, in my
Now,
book. But
Is, is Jakaiba Palladian as well?
Jacqueline is Pleiadian. Yes.
Okay, so, and the blue woman, you don't know where she comes from.
I'm no, I don't know.
Okay, and
Not
that's fine.
yet.
But you have a connection. These are star people. These are beautiful people, and you have actually, you know, as you're telling the story, I'm getting very clearly you've been taken, you've communicated with them, and you've been taken more than once onto their spaceship.
Okay.
Yeah, you have been. Do you realize that now, or did you not realize that before?
I didn't realize that before.
Yeah, the reason why you're having such clear memory because you interacted telepathically with both of these space people and you were taken on their spaceship, the same ship that has the children that are really happy and your daughter on that ship.
Mhm.
It's an intergalactic grouping of space people that work together. They're very much very loving people. So your story is such a beautiful story. It's amazing, and I think if you so choose to reconnect with both of those, Jacoby and the other space person, you can actually physically go on the ship. They've had you on a couple of times, but you don't remember. You remember being on the ship, but it's like when you come back to Earth, it's like did I really go on the ship or did I not go on the ship? Or was I sleeping in my bed or not sleeping in my bed? So essentially, the
Right.
human mind will make it sound like the mind will say, oh, you didn't do anything. But don't listen to your mind. Your inner heart knows that you went on a spaceship. So you were actually on this spaceship. You just added two more people to the story, and your story is absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing story. It
Thank
really
you.
is. Oh,
It
it's
is
an
my
amazing story.
truth.
It
It
is your
is my
truth.
truth. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely your truth. And no one can take that away. This is, I deal with all kinds of stories here from people, and they're both beautiful, and sometimes I deal with the other things that happen with people that I have to deal with. But your story tells me that you have a connection to all three. Of course, your daughter and these other two
Yes.
people, they know you. So you need to spend time communicating with them and letting them know that you're ready to go on the ship, and you want to see your daughter again. Have her build a relationship. You got a relationship here with some beautiful star people. Don't lose that relationship. Enhance it. Go for it. Make it happen.
Thanks for the advice.
Okay.
I
And you let me
appreciate it.
know.
I appreciate, yes.
You let me know, and I want you to come back and let me know how that goes. I want to hear in the future, what happens when you've been on the ship. More about the two women, the Palladians, and your daughter. Okay.
Yes. And
Beautiful.
I'm very grateful. I found, this page. I'm very new on TikTok, and something drew me to uh, your your account right now. So this
Oh,
is only
good.
my second time. So
Well, welcome to TikTok. I'm actually a professional broadcaster on 21 years going on WESUFM.org Sunday mornings. I do a show called Cosmic Eye Radio. I came out of the closet 21 years ago. I'm from Mars originally, with 10 to 15 million inhabitants. I am with the Ashtar Command, which you probably don't know about. It is the Christed cosmic beings from many planetary peaceful worlds of light. I am with the Ashtar Command, and I'm also a contactee from the 60s, and I had physical contact. And I've told the story with men and women in light blue space outfits in my cul-de-sac in a spaceship. That I went to my brother's room, so they opened the windows. The spaceship was there, and they told me I wasn't from here when I was a kid. This is before I was actually, before my teenage years. So I'm really
mhm.
appreciative of you being here. I think you'll get addicted to the show, and you'll make a lot of friends here because my show, we like to be very inclusive with all the new people, all our regular viewers. So we're glad you came on. I'm so happy you came on here.
And thank you for giving me time to share.
Absolutely, Gazelle. Everyone give her, a real round of applause. You've been great. And I can't wait to hear the future stories from you too.
Okay.
All right, we're going to let you down
Thank
gently here.
you.
You're most welcome.
Okay.
And let's see, let's do this here. My first guest for the night. And this is what we do here, folks. You see, it's not all abduction stories or bad situations. We have people that are contactees who have some beautiful stories. I mean, this is one of the more beautiful stories I've heard in a while. And I appreciate your gifts and support for what we do here because this is what we're committed to do. Hey, Jared, thank you. All your gifts are welcome. I appreciate it. And just to let you know, if you are having similar types of stories and you're in contact with space family or space people physically, you need to come on the show. You need to know this is a safe place to talk about what you've experienced. This is a place where, hey, Kit Kat, this is a place where everybody can come out of the closet and share their encounters with space people, just like Cassell did. And you don't have to be nervous because we treat everybody with respect here. And I'm a professional at what I do. You know, the added bonus is that I also am with the Ashtar Command, and I'm a Christed being of light as well. You know. Oh, thank you, Trance. And I got my apple cider. I got a half a gallon of apple. I'm not drinking a half a gallon of apple cider, but I have it. So if you want to be a guest, tell us your story a little bit on the comments. Let me know in your comments why you want to come on here. If I see somebody in the guest box, I'm not just going to bring on unless I know why. I want to have an idea of what the person wants to talk about. So who has a story to tell? I'm sure many people do, and you're all over the world. I know many of my viewers are everywhere. Little Rock, can you tell me what you want to talk about? Little Rock wants to tell us a story. And Little Rock, what's your story? And I'll bring you up. I need to get a little bit more. Jacoby was with us last week, and we'll get back to you, Jacoby. I just want to bring up some new people tonight, if I can. Hey, Amber. It's good to see you, Jacoby. I'm glad you came back. So I'm just saying, if you have a story to tell, let's see. Little Rock says, let's see what he says here, or she or he. Woke up to my house sundering and walked to my living room window and saw a formation of UFOs. Roseanne says, bed shaking. Oh, I know you did, Jacoby. Roseanne, what do you mean your bed was shaking? Let's see. Is there any other comments from Roseanne? Roseanne, hey, 937. And Roseanne said her bed was shaking. Roseanne, can you give us a little bit of background of what you're talking about? Okay, but why was it shaking? Did you have like a negative ET encounter? What caused the bed to shake? What was going on? See, this is what I do. I try to find out a little bit more from people. It woke me up. Okay, so when you woke up, what happened? And Bialosa Omega says, my ex of mine told me he was an abductee and found out he was a part of the hybrid program. I'd like to talk to you as well tonight. We're going to talk to a few people tonight on the show here. Stick with us. I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to bring on first. I'm going to bring on the person, and let's see here. Little Rock. We're going to bring Little Rock on here. We're going to bring Little Rock on the show. Little Rock will be our third guest here on Encounters. This is the #1 spiritual UFO talk show anywhere on social media. This is where you want to be, right here. I'm CmdrAleon, your host.
How we
Little
doing?
Rock, welcome. Doing good, and welcome to our show. And what's your first name, Little Rock?
Barrett.
Barrett. Nice to meet you, Barrett. And whereabouts in the country are you?
Pacific Northwest.
Oh, beautiful. That's a beautiful area. So give us some background history of what's happening, Barrett, in your area and when it started.
Okay, so as far as my background, what I'm talking about specifically happened when I was probably, what's that?
Yeah, the whole UFO, ET, that whole area.
Yep. So I woke up in my bed, and it sounded like I was younger at the time, still living with my parents. Sounded like the stereo system just had the subwoofers blaring at whatever frequency, and the whole house was vibrating. So it woke me up. I walked down the hallway, didn't see my parents in their bedroom, walked in the living room expecting to see them in there watching a movie. They weren't there. Walked up to the window. I look outside, and there's a formation of the traditional saucer-shaped UFOs. They were stationary, floating above the neighborhood, and they were in a triangle pattern.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet. And traditionally, there's a history. And in my own case, I've seen triangular patterns of UFOs too. So I completely get it. Continue on. I'm just listening
Outside
to what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I was left believing that what I had experienced was a dream. There's some other stuff that I've never told anybody. Not sure I'm going to do that now. But I was left feeling with compelling evidence that we were not alone.
Mm-hmm. Of course, when you have sightings and stuff like that happen in your life that never happened before, I can attest to the fact that when I first had my stuff happen, when I had a visitation, when I say that, when I talked about the spaceship flying saucer in the 60s when I lived on Long Island as a kid, I walked out upstairs after dinner, my brother and my mother and father downstairs. For no reason, I go past my room to his room, open the wooden shades, and in the cul-de-sac, just hovering right above the cul-de-sac, there were 4 houses, including ours, in the cul-de-sac. And there was this flying saucer ship with like these windows, like I call them dark windows, but not really. They're transparent. And I saw men and women I would say they'd be about 7 or 8 feet tall, human, wearing light blue space outfits. And they were telepathic because they communicated with me. And I went down excited. I tried to get my mom, my brother, my father up. Said, "Oh, we'll come up." No one came up. So then I found later on in years, I said, well, maybe it wasn't for them to see it. I couldn't understand that. But I had that experience. That opened me up to a lot of sightings over the years. I mean, I've had hundreds of sightings of what I call spaceships, since I was a kid. So I completely can relate. When you have something like this happen, it changes the way you look at the universe and the way you look at everything around you, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So let's continue on here and don't be afraid if you had interaction with some space people or visitations like my last guest. This is a place where you can feel safe to tell your story because I can relate to it because I'm not here to bash people's stories. I'm a contactee. I've had contact. So I'm very much into having people tell what they have to tell, and you'll be well respected on my show completely.
Okay. Well, with the hope of some air of anonymity.
Yeah, of course.
So as I was looking at the formation, the house was still shaking. Of course, I'm younger. I think hiding behind the wall is my best bet until I can find my parents. So I dipped down out of the view of the window and I, squeezed my eyes shut real hard. And I think, this can't be happening. And then I opened my eyes and I'm no longer in my living room. I'm sitting in a chair looking at my living room. On the screen, I can see, and I swear this is before all the movies with the Alien and the Terminator and all that. You could see my outline of my body highlighted in red, hiding behind the wall in my house.
Wow.
I of course was like, I said what, and as soon as I said what, in the front of the same cockpit there were two other beings, one on the left lower and one on the right lower. I was in the seat that was sitting up above those two. The one on the right turns around and looks at me, and I look at it, and I look at it in its eyes, and initially it appeared like the traditional grays, except it was a more round head and not so elongated or whatever like they got them showing now. And his eyes weren't quite almond shaped, they were more round. And when I took note of what I was looking at, I think it sensed I wasn't supposed to be there, and it like growled at me. I don't know how to explain that.
Really?
When it did that, when it did that, its mouth opened, and it was a very wide mouth full of smaller teeth. So, of course, that spooked me. Next thing I know, I'm laying awake in my bed.
Ah, okay. So I'm very familiar with that. I have a lot of knowledge here. So you were actually taken on a spaceship, and those what you call grays, actually they're called Zeta Reticuli. So they're from a place called the Zeta Reticuli system. They're so Zetas can be different in that system.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like they weren't the entities that were on the craft that I was on were not the traditional grays.
Right, I understand that. There's different types of Zeta.
Okay.
They're
sorry,
different,
go ahead.
Just like you have humans that are different. You have humans that are different skin colors, humans that have different looks in their face, languages. But the Zeta are all different. Absolutely correct. And some are short.
Okay.
Some are like people have told me they've met Zeta that are like 5 feet tall. Other Zetas that are 6 or 7 feet tall, and they're all different though. They're completely different. So that Zeta being on the ship, like it's interesting. You were there, and there's one on one side, one on the other side. Did they not know you were actually on the ship?
Initially, I don't think so. Once I opened my eyes, I was taking in the screen. The one on the left had no reaction. It was still doing whatever he was doing with his equipment. The one on the right, he was standing up out of his seat, doing something, and then when I made the noise, he turned and looked at me, and I think that's when he realized I wasn't supposed to be there, and that's
Right.
when his smallish lips peeled back, and you can see a big mouth of teeth.
Yeah, teeth.
Yeah.
Now,
So
have you ever thought about how you ended up getting on the ship? This is a really intriguing story.
I don't know how I got on the ship. I
I
remember
don't know
ducking
either.
behind the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember ducking behind the wall, um, squinting my eyes shut,
Hmm.
and thinking this can't be real. And
Hmm.
when I opened my eyes again, I was on the ship.
Yeah. I mean, there had to be somebody in their grouping that took you on the ship, and those two might have not been the ones that did it, but you had to have been taken on board the ship by somebody from their spaceship. Because unless you had the ability, without knowing it, that somehow unconsciously you brought yourself onto the ship, and if that happened, that's amazing. If you were able to do that, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's a very
Right.
compelling story. I mean, when you think, have you ever tried to figure out how that happened?
I've sat a lot of nights trying to figure out what happened, and the only
Yeah.
thing that I can think of that makes any sense at the speed at which it happened
Hmm.
was that the commander, whoever was sitting in the higher seat, switched places with me or invited me into his wherever he was. I didn't see the body that I was in. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see the body that I was in. Just kind of like you don't see yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You don't see
Um,
yourself. Yeah.
right. Um,
So.
I don't think my physical body was transported. I was left
Right.
thinking, because I felt like it was a dream, I was left thinking that it was a mental thing. I don't know if that's what happened, but
No, it definitely wasn't mental. You were. This is like I said before. When people I've interviewed, they'll make you think it's a dream when in fact you were taken on board the ship. So yeah, I mean to have that kind of a dream, what I call a cosmic reality, is if you have a dream like that and you can remember every detail of being on a ship, wasn't a dream. Now a dream is something like, let's say you have like a bunch of Cheerios floating in your dream and a bunch of marshmallows in your dream, and everyone's like doing all kinds of weird stuff. That's just a dream. What you had happen to you was actually made to look like it was a dream, and your mind wants you to think it's a dream. So you have to turn the mind off because the mind's going to mess it up. In fact, is somebody on that ship invited you to be on that ship, and then this other being who wasn't aware of you wasn't aware of that happening and actually made you go back into your physical environment on Earth. So that's what I'm kind of
right.
getting here from this story. I'm trying to piece the puzzle together for you a bit, which is I'm pretty good at doing. When I listen really carefully to my guests. So that's what I'm getting. I think also that have you had any other encounters with them again since that point?
The only encounters that I've had are seeing the UFOs in the sky. I do have a very short clip of me catching one. I assumed it was Jupiter and that it was
Mm-hmm.
just in an odd spot in the position in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat there and stared at it and realized it was fluctuating in color. And I was like, okay, this isn't right. I did take a
Right.
short video of it, but I was going to be late for work. So, very small
Yeah.
clip.
Yeah.
I've seen those off and on my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never had another encounter like that one. I think
Okay.
because the one on the right turn wasn't expecting me there. I don't know if I wasn't invited or however it worked out.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's fine. So, if you told me that you were being abducted and they were doing things, then I was going to ask you if I can help you. But in your case, it seems like they didn't do anything to you. They just obviously were, this one being was surprised you were even on the ship. And it's very interesting. We're going to send him back. We don't want him here. He's not supposed to be here.
Right.
That's the gist of what I'm getting, right? Were you feeling that way?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely
Yeah,
got the feeling that I was uninvited.
uninvited.
Like
It's a,
I spooked him.
Yeah, you spooked them. That's amazing. It's a great story, man. I appreciate you coming up here and
Thanks.
sharing it. No, really, it's a great story. It's a true story, And you gave me some insights, which were able to have me respond and ask questions and even get you better answers that it wasn't a dream. You actually did have an experience. Your mind's going to tell you it's a dream, but it wasn't a dream. So I appreciate you, man, for coming on here and watching the show, sharing your story. I hope you'll be a regular viewer of the program.
I'm sure it will be.
Okay, Little Rock, thank you, man, for being on here.
Appreciate
you have
it.
a beautiful evening.
All right.
We'll let you down. I'll get my next guest coming up here. And I choose my guests here. So let me see who I want to have. There were some people that mentioned they had some stuff going on here. Let's see. So before I put anybody on, I need to know what you want to talk about. I want to make sure I'm not bringing up a troll or somebody's causing problems or whatever. So, my YouTube channel is Ashtar Command Spaceship News, and you can see all my encounter shows, including last night, on there. You're very welcome, everyone who's coming in here. Alien Visitation. Okay, so I think it's Quija Lord says you're talking about alien vegetation. Let's see here. What was the other person? Thank you, Cole Hurley. I'm glad you're definitely enjoying the show. I'm going to go backwards here. There was somebody else I wanted to bring on here, and I'm trying to find her. And I want to bring her on first since oh yeah, Palita 411. I've had 5 encounters with videos. So let's see. Palitia, you're going to be our next guest. You're our 3rd guest on the show tonight. Palitia, if you want to come on, please accept my request to have you on the show. Just press the multi-guest option on the bottom of your TikTok screen. Palitia. And also, I think Velocia Omega, Palitia, I know you were one of the earlier people. I'm going to get you on here. And I think, let's see, Velocia Omega. Velocia Omega, I just sent you a request. I know earlier you said you had, and thank you for the heart me. I'd like to bring you on, or Palatia. I'm just taking a look here at all the different people. Hey, Honey McReynolds. Hey, Brandy. Let me try to I'll bring this other person on. Let's see here. Yeah, Palitia 411. I just sent you a request to come on the show live. You have to be over 18 if you come on the show. You have no kids on the show. No paranormal discussion. No cursing. No drinking. No drugs. No smoking. Whatever. Again, that's the basic rules of the show. We have a lot of interesting comments from people that are having experiences here. So if you want to be on the show, there's the multi-guest option on the bottom of the screen. But before you press that button, I want to know who you are, what you want to talk about. So this way, before I have you on, I'm kind of like screening my guests, which is the best way to do it. I do that on my radio show for 21 years. And please tap, everybody tap. The more you tap, if everybody taps my screen, on the right top corner, you see it says 559. You're going to increase the likes on the show. Everybody, please follow me. If you're not following the show or following me, you should be following me anyway. Follow each other. And also, everyone press and tap, and you'll have the hearts going up. We want to get to 100,000 likes by 1 o'clock this morning. And so let's see. Deanne, I can't go live, but would love your help. I've been trying to help Deanne. And Deanne, you know what? You might be able to go live. I'm going to take a chance here. I just sent you a request. Deanne, sent you a request. I want to see if it'll work tonight. I have a feeling it just might. And if it doesn't work, It doesn't work. You've not followed me. You're not following me. I've watched for over. I'm not following you. Let's see here. Oh, I should be following you. Oh, I didn't know I wasn't following you. It's hard to, I don't know who I'm following. Well, I can't follow you, Ancoli. You have to change your setting. That's why. Your setting's on private. Change your setting, and I can follow you, and then other people can follow you. So you have to change your setting on your TikTok. Because I just pressed it now, and it won't let me do it. Change your setting. When you have it changed, let me know, and we'll definitely follow you. Tar, yeah, spirit. Let's see here. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate that, Ancoli. Change your setting, and I'll follow you too. Yeah, you have it set to private. You need to go into settings and set it to public. Thank you, yeah, spirit. We are definitely amped up tonight. So, I'm going to bring on this other person, and I think it's Quija Lord 24. Quija Lord 24. Let's see here. We're going to find out what Quija Lord 24 is at. An encounter is just, hey, Quija Lord 24, how are you doing?
Fine, fine, fine. And yourself?
Good. And what's your first name?
I'm Steve.
Hey, Steve, nice to meet you. And so tell us a little bit about your background as you watch the show. You get to know how we operate here. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences when it started happening?
Okay, remember me from the day before yesterday? I called on your radio show and you wanted
Oh,
me
yeah,
to.
on the radio. Yeah. We talked. We had the connections weren't totally great, but yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get here last night, so I'm catching up tonight.
Right. Steve was on my show, my radio show, and our studio had some bad problems with the phone connections. Well, I'm glad you got on here. So now you're on the big show.
Mhm.
Let people know a little bit your background and tell us what happened.
Yeah, remember I was telling you about I had the visitation from the tall gray alien.
Right. But a
Okay.
lot of people on here might not know about it. That's why it's different from the radio. So we
hmm
don't want to start from scratch to let people know what's going on.
Okay, so I don't know. Again, I'm not good with time, but I know it's not more than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We moved to our place where we are now at around 2017 in New York City. And I don't know, one night I fell asleep and I woke up in the morning, early in the morning, maybe about 9, 10 o'clock. And I'm laying on my back and to my right eye, my right corner of my right eye, I see this thing coming down the hallway, coming toward my bedroom. And it was a very tall, slender, gray man, but it was not a regular man. He wasn't solid. He was made out of something like cigarette smoke, and
Yeah. I remember that. You said
uh,
you used the word cigarette smoke. Did he look like cigarette smoke or was it translucent?
translucent, but very,
Yeah, I
very
think that.
similar to some cigarette smoke. But yeah, okay, so
Okay, we'll
translucent.
go with that. But go ahead.
Okay, and yeah, that's what he looked like. His body was made up of that. He had the arms, he had the legs, he had the torso, he had the shoulders and the head. He looked at like a gray, but just a tall version. I know he
Hmm.
had to be about 10, 12 feet tall. And my
Mm-hmm.
bedroom is in my house is only about, I would say at best 7.5, 8 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he did it, but he walked into my bedroom and he managed somehow. It was a manipulation in my mind. I know that he did something with my mind, and
Mm-hmm.
he fitted in the room, my bed and everything, television set. We were all in the room, but he was still the most imposing figure in there. And he
Mm-hmm.
walked over me very slowly. And as he was doing that, I got this piece of calm, a good like I told you the other day. It's like how people
Yeah.
experience in the near-death experience. They say
Yeah.
they see this light, they experience this peace. But he was going past me, and I'm looking at him walk. And the funny part is, he never paid me any attention. He was just going where he was going, and he ended
So
up. Well,
did he
mhm.
look like someone mentioned in the audience that he could have been a plasma being, like a plasma type energy?
you know, I really, I'm really not sure. The best way I can describe him is just like, like what you said, translucent, more
Translucent.
like.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. That's the best way I can say it. But I
Okay.
know that he looked like a just like a gray, except that he was just tall. He had the big bulbous head. He had the black eyes, the nose, and the whole 9 yards. Just very tall
Hmm.
gray, and he just walked so nice and calmly, and I got the feeling like him and I were in another dimension. And then he ended up walking out of the room, out
Hmm.
of the window, and again, I'm on a very tall floor, and he just dissipated, and that was it. That was the experience. So, like I told you, after that, I went to do my homework, and I'm searching all of these books and stuff, and I come across the Golden Dawn material. They had a big
Yeah.
book out, and I found in there they were talking about spirits, and they said, they have spirits on Saturn that look just like what I just described to you in that book. So I put two and two together. I said, well, maybe that was a Saturnian spirit that I saw, and I've never been able to think about it any other way. But
Right.
I have heard after the event that they're all also tall grays. So I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't
Well,
see a
there,
spaceship or
there, there,
anything.
there really aren't anything called grays. That's an Earth-based terminology in the UFO community. They're basically
Okay.
Zeta Reticuli. So basically, if you switch the word from gray to Zeta, there's different
Mhm.
types of Zeta. Like I had my last guest on, the Zeta are some are small, some are tall. Maybe there's some that are you might have been in a situation where that Zeta was in another sight dimension. Then
Mhm.
if that Zeta didn't notice you at all in the room, you might have had an opening of a portal or something where the dimensions kind of like mixed in with each other, and
Oh,
that
that's deep.
Zeta just walked through and disappeared.
Yeah, that's deep because I can tell you for sure the whole time he didn't acknowledge me. He didn't see me. He didn't look at
Hmm.
me. He
Yeah,
just his head was straight. He was walking, and when he got directly in, like into my sight, where I can see his left shoulder because I'm laying on the bed. His left shoulder is lined perfectly with my eyes.
yeah.
He had his expression was like he was just trying to get where he was going. He didn't
Mm.
see me at not one time. He didn't acknowledge me at one time. So maybe
Thank
you're
you,
right.
Stardust.
Yeah, maybe a
Yeah,
portal was opening or something.
I believe as I listen to your story now more clearly instead of the radio station, I really do feel you had like a dimensional portal opening, mixing in with where you are on this earth, and where
Mm-hmm.
they are a slightly different frequency or vibration crossed over. That's unusual. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how unusual it is, but it is unusual to have that happen because if the Zeta walked across you and didn't even notice you, then there had to be some sort of a opening that allowed that to happen. Now I don't know how that happened or why it happened, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess it could happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I also remember like it was very short lived, but there was a period of time where he was walking, like taking these strides, but it looked like he wasn't making any ground, gaining any ground. But
Yeah.
then slowly he started to, catch up and walk on out. It was very weird, man. But I know I saw it. I wasn't asleep. I wasn't hallucinating. I don't use drugs, so you know.
No, I believe you. I absolutely do
Yeah.
believe you on that. And
Hmm.
I finally got to hear you really loud and clear on my show
Yeah.
here. The radio station is good, but we've had
Hmm.
some technical problems with our phone lines, and sometimes people break up on the phone. And it's a big station, so hopefully they'll fix that. But I'm glad you got on my Encounter show because this is
Hmm.
one of our big audiences right here. One of the number one UFO spiritual talk shows on social media. So, Steve,
Nice.
thank you for coming on here, man. I
For sure,
appreciate
man.
it.
Keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it.
All right.
All
Yes,
right.
yes,
Peace.
yes. All right. We're going to bring another person on here. We have another person that wants to come on here. Um, I'm bringing Roseanne. Roseanne, I'm going to see what she wants to speak of. Rosanna Faro 15. Rosanna Faro 15, can you tell me, before I bring you on, what you want to talk about? Rosanna Faro, are you there? You're watching Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. And we appreciate everybody's tapping. Please support the show. Let me see. I want to make sure. I've got 7 of 10 hats taken. I want you to also go to my Venmo app, which is part of PayPal. My main page, if you want to do $5 or $10 in support through my Venmo, please do. Hey, Darren Steele, good to see you. So if you want to use the TikTok gifts or my Venmo app link is on my main page. Also, all our shows, um, all my shows are on my YouTube channel, Astro Command Spaceship News. Oh, bed shaking. Oh yeah, the bed shaking thing. Let me get her on here. We're gonna help her out. We're gonna help you out. We're gonna try to find out how to help you here.
You're
Hey,
connected.
Rosanna. Hey,
Hi.
good evening. How are you?
Oh, doing well, thank you. Can you hear me
And
okay?
you sound great. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in San Jose, California.
Okay, great. And you caught my attention about your bed shaking, and I'm trying to figure out what happened before the bed was shaking. Can you give some background? And are you over 18?
Yes, I'm way over 18, thank you. I might have
Uh,
a small voice, but I'm
I believe you. I believe you. So tell us what happened, because I want to understand how the bed was shaking and what actually happened.
sure. I had lived in Nevada for nearly 2 years, and when I came back to California, I started having what I thought were nightmares. And so then one night, which I was thinking was just a nightmare, I was waking up from my bed shaking. And I was paralyzed. I couldn't move, and my bed kept shaking. And it shook so much that it lifted up off the floor, and I felt it fall back down on the ground.
Oh my God.
Yes, I was feeling that too, but I was paralyzed, so I couldn't move.
You
Um,
say you were paralyzed and you couldn't move on your bed?
yes, I couldn't move on my bed. I couldn't scream either. I could just open my eyes.
Were you paralyzed because you were afraid, or were you paralyzed because something was so? Oh, were you paralyzed because something was paralyzing you?
It feels like something paralyzes you when you feel that paralyzed. It didn't feel like a sleep paralysis. How everyone says, "Oh, that's sleep
Okay,
paralysis,"
right,
but it
right.
didn't feel like that to me.
Hmm.
I felt like something paralyzed me.
Did you ever have any encounters with extraterrestrials at all in your life?
I don't know what they are.
Extraterrestrials, let me explain something. Extraterrestrials are people, or they're not always people, but they're space beings. They're non-human in terms of they don't come from Earth. So if you had an encounter like a Zeta, with the big head, the big eyes, that would be one. Reptilian, another type, non-human space beings. If that's, I'm going to just give you some idea of what that is. I'm not trying to put answers into your consciousness. I'm just trying to figure out what happened here.
No, they were short. They were short people. They all had about the same height, and they all wore hoods over their heads. They looked like little monks, but they're very squarish in their silhouette. They all look like little squares, but their
Hmm.
skin was blue. Their skin was
Their
blue,
their skin was blue and they were short.
very short, and
Hmm.
they had big mouths.
Okay, so this gets interesting. Well, they definitely are extraterrestrial. They are extraterrestrial. I don't know where they're from. And when these blue people, what year was this? And when did these blue people, were they in your bedroom? Where were the blue people?
They went all around my bed. They were
They're
all
all around
around
your bed.
the circle, just like a
Hmm.
circle of, and they were
Hmm.
saying something, some kind of chanting, some kind of noise. It was very rhythmical.
Hmm.
Um,
And when they came around your bed, what were they doing? I mean, did they try to communicate with you? What was going on?
After they chanted, they took their hoods to show me their faces, and then they would jump into the bed, and they were very tiny bodies, but when they showed me their face, it looked just like my mother's face. And they did it one by one. They jumped into the bed, but every time I could look at them, I saw my mother's face. And I said, I knew it couldn't be their actual faces. There's no way that each one had my mother's face.
Hmm.
That's when I thought I
Right,
was dreaming. I said, I'm having a dream, but why is it so real, and why can't I move? And
right.
all I
No, it
knew,
wasn't a dream. So I'm really listening really carefully here. And I don't know how much you've watched my show or been watching my show, if you're relatively new to it or not. But I am not from here. I'm with the Ashtar Command, which are space people that are very loving, Christed beings of light. I am one of those people. I came here on mission to Earth. And what I'd like to do is help you. If you let me, I'll help you.
I'm all about it, because when they do what they do, I don't have a choice.
Hmm. Well, we're going to put a stop to that tonight on this show, and we're going to help you. I'm going to go into for people watching the show. watch what happens right now, because what I'm going to do is go from my talk show host. I still am the talk show host. I'm going to switch consciousness into my Astro Command mode right now. As you're watching me, for those that are new to the show, you're going to see something that nobody on Earth is doing. I'm doing it because I don't come from this planet. I'm having the human experience, but I'm fully activated and I'm able to do what I do. So let me just do this here. Hold a minute. We're going to do this right now. Hold on. I just have to change something here. And we will do this. All right. We're going to get started in just a second here on this. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, for folks watching this, I'm going to do something that's going to help her. So what we're going to do is send 15. First of all, I'm sending a spaceship over your location. You're on the West Coast, correct?
I don't know about compass directions. I'm sorry.
Where are you located? What state are you in?
San Jose, California.
San Jose, California. Okay. I'm sending an Astro Command spaceship cloaked over your location about 20,000 feet right now. The ship will be there like momentarily, within seconds. That's how quick our ships are. The people I'm sending in are 15 Astro Command people. Some of them are medical people. When I say medical, not like Earth-based human medical people, doctors, nurses. The medical people on the ship are very advanced and very way beyond anything Earth knowledge of medical understanding, so to speak.
Okay.
But we're going to send the ship over. 15 people are going to come off the ship. Do you have a basement in your location?
No basement.
Okay, I don't know. They always ask me that question. So we're going to just bring them in. I asked the Astro Command to scan the area for these beings that are short with the blue faces that wear hoods. I want them to find them wherever they come from and to quarantine them right now. We're actually going to be doing something else too. I want 5. Actually, I'm communicating telepathy with the space people, so we're having a discussion about what to do here as I'm talking to you at the same time.
Okay.
They're going to check all your rooms. They're going to make sure there's no residual energy from these beings, and they're basically purifying every room in the house that you live in. They're going to purify the whole environment, so to speak, including outside. Now what they're going to do, the 5 people that are coming in, there's 3 women and 2 men, space people. They're about 7 to 8 feet tall. They're human. They're beautiful. You'll feel the energy in a few minutes. I want you to close your eyes for me, please.
Okay.
I want you to breathe in and breathe out of your nostril a few times, a couple times, until you relax. Turn your brain off. Just relax. And when you're relaxed, let me know.
I'm relaxed.
Okay, very good. So what we're going to do now is we have the 5 medical people of the 15 in your room. Give me a moment. The 2 women, please come forward to help her. One's going to touch your forehead. The other one's going to touch the top of your head. And the man, the space of the Astro Command person, who's a man, medical person, is going to touch your neck. If you'll 3 touch each area to start doing the activated work to take any implants out that you might have had, and also to clear her energy field, please. Okay. When you feel their energy, the space people, please let me know.
I can feel it.
You feel it?
My head is tilted all the way back.
Okay, yes, they're working with you. The two women of the space and of the Astro Command and the one man, they're all working with you. So, yeah. So if you're watching this, folks, this is really happening. I'm really doing what I do here. Everything I don't just walk the walk. I talk the talk. I talk. Yeah, I talk. But what's happening with her? We're going to help her. And by the time we're done, she will never have any connection to those people with the hoods, the blue people, or whatever they were, from wherever they came from in terms of space. They will not be able to do what they were doing with her. I want you to relax. All is good. The other 10 space people are working around your property area. They're also setting up devices that will prevent any of these blue space beings or whatever from coming back into your environment. So they're permanently going to be not able to go and even go near you. Your physical body is being protected. You're going to have an invisible energy force field around your physical form that is of the highest levels of light, and you'll not be able to be touched by any lower vibrational ETs ever again. And we're making sure that you're safe and that you'll have no more problems. How do you feel right now?
Whoa. I never knew my head could go back that far.
Yeah, they're working on you. The command is really working on your energy.
My head just stretched all the way back. That was incredible.
Yeah, the Ashtar Command people are kind of talking as I'm working with you. They're actually talking to each other. I think Kit Kat, you're saying you're hearing voices. There
How
is
did they
some
know
of that. How did they know that? I have my earpods on. I can hear it too. I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, they're talking to each other. Red Jen can hear it too. I didn't want to say anything, folks. I have my earpods on, and yeah, they've been interacting, communicating with each other. Rosanna, I'll have one of the space women say hello to you. I'll ask her if she can. If you would tell Rosanna hello, and what your space name is from the command, let her know who you are, that if you wish to, as you're working with her. We'll see if they don't have to do it. It's up to them whether they choose to do it. And if you hear the woman speak to you and tell her your name, tell you her name, let me know. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it has happened recently before with one or two other people.
No, but I'm able to put my head back to a normal position again.
Oh, good. So how do you feel right now?
Well, with my eyes closed, it feels very peaceful.
Yes. They've cleared all of the stuff out of your physical form. They've worked on the etheric level of your body and the physical level of your body. And if there was any implants in you, they've taken all the implants out. You're completely free of implants. No more implants.
Yeah, it feels like a thorn came out of my neck.
Yeah, there was an implant in your body that these beings put there, and that's why they were able to do what they did. No longer will they be able to do it. So when you go to sleep at night in your bed's not going to be shaking. It's not going to be You're not going to be paralyzed anymore. The command's putting a stop to that. They already did put a stop to it. Those beings can never come back into your home ever. Now, wherever you go, if you travel on a trip somewhere, you're completely safe. If you go to Arizona or to a state park or wherever you go, you're now safe and you're well protected. You've been activated. They're activating your consciousness to a much higher vibrational pattern. So you're completely fixed in terms of what happened. No longer, no more problems. You took care of it on this show.
I think more people should try it. That was incredible for me. Thank you. I think more people should do it.
Well, I want to thank you. Now, how I do this is after bringing the Ashtar Command there, they're going to stay with you for the next 24 hours just to make sure, and then they're going back on the ship, and they will leave the area. The ship is cloaked, cannot be detected by any military radar. I want you to just say this. This is really the most powerful thing. I do this with every person I help, and this empowers you to know who you are. So I want you to say, I am a Christed being of light.
I am a Christed being of light.
I am empowered in the light.
I am empowered in the light.
Never again will any negative ETs be able to interfere with me.
Never again will any negative ET ever be able to interfere with me.
There you go. That's it. That's simple. I don't do any rituals. I don't throw things in the air or crystal balls or whatever. Everything I do is real. So you are beautiful. We were able to help you. The command was able to help you. They're still with you. And one of them or two of them say they will, before they leave, they will speak in English through consciousness. So they're going to be telepathically communicating with you. Let me see if one of them will do that. Could one of the space people in the room with her telepathically communicate through consciousness and tell her your name? Let's see if that happens. Can you tell her your name? Listen carefully. Turn your mind off. Just listen carefully and see if they say anything. They might not, but they might. And if they don't speak now, they'll probably say something before they leave, but it'll be completely they'll be completely telepathic. Well, Roseanne, I want to thank you for. You can open your eyes. I want to thank you for being here, and you're completely all better now. There's going to be any more problems. Hey, Barbara, there'll be no more problems. You're all definitely in good shape now.
Thank you so much.
All right, Rosanna, thank you for being here. You're a beautiful being, and you're okay. Let's do this here. And that's how we cosmically roll on this show. You know what I mean? I'm going to take another guest. Palita, I want to bring you on the show. Palitia, I just invited you. Please, let's see. Palitia, who's this other person? Okay, so Palitia.
Hey, how you doing? Well, my name is Andres.
Andres, good to meet you. And welcome to the show. Whereabouts are you located?
I'm actually in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, great. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You're on the #1 UFO spiritual show on the social media. Tell us your background and your story. It's nicer to hear it instead of in sentences. When did it start, and are you over 18?
Actually, it started right around COVID. And so I've been into the UFO world for a minute, believing in my mind, like we're not alone. And I know that we're more than our consciousness is and manifesting as real. So I go outside of my apartment, but it was one of these days where I was like having like an emotional kind of day. And I went outside and I was just looked up and there it was. It was at least, 80 feet away from me. It was two of them. One didn't move,
Wow.
One stayed. I thought that it was a star. I thought that I seen the one on the left. If you go look at my video, the one on the left was moving. And I seen the one on the right blink also, but it just stood there and I thought that it was a star. But the one on the right, this happened in 10 seconds. And I was so blown away. You could hear it in my voice. I was like, come closer. I see you.
Right.
Do you see me?
You?
I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh,
right.
This is, I get the chills thinking about it right now. And
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
and because I was just like, my emotions was wondering, and I was just like, come back, and it just took off. It literally took off. It zoomed out, and this is going on, I think, because my mother's passing, and when I uploaded another video, I'm at the hospital and I'm looking out, and there it is. There's just
another spaceship.
I'm not gonna. I couldn't tell if it was a spaceship, honestly, because if you go look at my videos, it's throwing so. And I was
Oh, you're kind of breaking up. Well, I don't know what happened to your phone. It might be the way you're turning the
Sorry, I'm
phone.
sorry.
You.
I'm sorry. It was just it was throwing so many colors that you really
Mhm.
can't see a spaceship, but you see so many. It's so many colors. If you go look at the video, you're gonna
And on the
see. I would
colors,
say an orb.
an orb. Okay. Well, and would you say it was a fairly big orb when you were looking at it?
Yeah, yeah. The one at the hospital. Yeah, it was quite far away, but
Mm.
I zoomed into it and you can see it, but I just don't understand why I see them.
I can answer that question very quickly, very easily. The reason why
Yes, sir.
certain people see things, and they always ask me a question when they come on, and I ask a lot of questions, and I proceed to read your energy so I can give you answers. Because you're connected. It's not just a big orb somewhere in the distance, it's probably a spaceship with beings inside what you call an orb. There are orb type spaceships that are multicolored that are beautiful. And I've seen quite a few different types of spaceships. Some of them are really big, colorful orbs. Some of them are saucer shaped. There's many different variations of non-terrestrial spacecraft. So the reason why you're seeing them and nobody else is seeing them because there's a connection there. It's not connecting with the physical ship. There's a connection between you and whoever the space beings are inside the craft that has got the multi lights or whatever going on. That's that. So you're at the first level saying, "Wow, why am I seeing all these things?" There's a connection to each person when they have these encounters. Have you ever looked at it that way, or since I just said this, or did you just look at it as being, "I'm having these sightings, I don't know what's going on"?
I know. I think that I also go out because I like to go into the field with my friends and I'd be like, listen, let's all just relax and we just think consciousness. I at least me and I just be like, just if you I don't know, I just call it out into the universe. If you're real,
Right, right.
come out, let me see you. And then I have a video that I uploaded also right now, right as you were trying to add me.
Yeah.
I was trying to get into the settings, but I uploaded the video. Um, again, I walk outside. This is my mother's house. This is like 3 months ago. I uploaded it
Mm,
right now. I look to my right. I grab my camera, and again, my emotions running. I'm having like consciousness, and I walk outside. And I'm like, because my she's about to pass away at this time, so
yeah.
I'm also having like and teary eyed, and I'm just looking, and I'm just thinking to myself like, I understand if you can call them somehow. If
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. You just have to go
Yeah.
outside and really believe in it. But I grab my camera, I look to my right, and there they are. They come out. Well, it was three of them, and then they actually, if you see the video, they pass each other. It was.
Hmm.
People are like, "Oh no, you're looking at drones." I was like, "No, they're not drones." And honestly, that happened in like about 5 minutes, 6 minutes later. I see helicopters
Hmm.
that were flying
Yeah.
around, at least two or one, and you can hear the helicopters. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's crazy!" Like I was like, something was there.
Whenever you see, and the helicopters most likely would have been unmarked helicopters. When that happens, what they're doing is the government never tells you the truth when they talk about, oh, we don't have any, we're not chasing any spaceships or UFOs or whatever. You
Yes.
got to understand that whenever something like this happens, folks who are watching this,
Yes.
and what he's just saying, when there's helicopters showing up, they're trying to intercept the unknown object, right? They're trying to intercept. They can't intercept it because the object can probably, in a blink of an eye, disappear. They're like, oh, we're going to intercept it and look at this thing. But the spaceships can go out of our atmosphere into another dimension if they're from a higher frequency. They can go in and out. They can cloak themselves. It depends where they come from. So,
Agreed.
it's always funny how they will bring in military helicopters or, F-15 fighter jets to try to intercept these spaceships when in fact they're not able to do it because these ships can disappear in a nanosecond.
I also think I played a little part on that because I bought a green laser
Okay.
and I also was like I kept pointing in the air, zooming in and out. I was like
Hmm.
looking for them. I think that may have played something with it too, but I
Hmm.
honestly, I mean, who knows? But I mean, this is like the six. I got six videos, and to me, it's
Wow.
just like, yeah, I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
have to.
bat. I'm going from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, and
Wow.
my friend is driving, and I'm in the passenger, and there's a lightning that went off, and all of a sudden, like a little bulb light right there in the cloud, and I was like, Nestor, look, and he was like, oh my, I seen that because it moved,
Yeah.
and then I was like, we're driving, and he's like, okay, we're gonna keep staring. And the lightning goes again, and all of a sudden it lights up, boom, and it was right there. I got video of it, and I
Wow.
haven't uploaded that one, but it's just mind blowing.
I want to watch your videos. How can people watch your videos on
I
your
honestly,
channel?
I just unprivate my page so they can go
Mhm.
look at it and they can give you the honest opinion of what
Yeah.
they're
No.
thinking.
No, I
Yes,
think people want to definitely watch your videos,
yes,
and I'll definitely, if watch them, I might even share them on my Ashtar Command page, or
yes.
I have a lot of stuff that I've been posting from spaceships the last couple days that are amazing things, and I'm sure you have some amazing things on your page too that I want to take a look at.
Now
And,
I've had people say, "Can you stop doing that?" I've had people ask me that, and I was like, "Okay, stop looking for them, stop calling them," because they feel like,
people are saying for you to stop calling them. So here's one of the things I want to suggest. This
yes,
is, I want to suggest that you discipline who you're calling. I mean, obviously, you haven't felt any negative energy from what you've been doing, correct?
oh, absolutely not, no.
Okay, that's good. But to more or less make sure it is going to always be positive for you, is to always when you're meditating. I don't know if you meditate or not. Hopefully, you do. Um, but do you have the C5 app at all from Dr. Stephen Greer?
No, but due to
Okay,
like what I've heard of him, that's how I've gone outside and just, sat there for
right,
hours and just,
right.
just,
So
yeah, meditation, absolutely.
th-
But
there's two things I want you to do. The app is like $9.99. If you have an Android phone on Google Play, you can download it and it'll be on your phone forever. And what you do is there's protocol of contact. I think you kind of got there. You got part of it down, but the protocol of contact is really important. We have a C5 group here in the United States, here in Connecticut, our Ashtar Command Contact Group, and we're going to be planning something for August up here in the Northeast.
oh, I would love.
Um, yeah. So what we're doing is when we make contact, our goal is the contact has to be Christed beings of light. And we integrate Stephen Greer's app and his protocol with our protocol. We merge his protocol for peaceful visitation of seeing these spaceships from other worlds. But we want to make sure that the contacts we have are of the highest possible light. And that goes for everybody out there who's looking to have contact. There's got to be some sort of a discipline to doing this, or just because you don't know who you're bringing in. So when you want to do this, just get the app. It's like $9.99. If you have an iPhone, use Apple. You can download it on Apple. Read
Yes,
the protocol, study it. There's a networking thing on the protocol where you can network with other people, but people can network right on my show here. And if they're in the same area of Louisiana as you are, you guys can connect with each other and have a group
I'm gonna be honest
of
with you.
some.
I've never felt threatened or scared.
Okay,
Honestly,
all
I,
right.
I just I feel like, hey, come get me. Like, I'm sure I'll be culture shocked, but take me with you. Let's go see.
Right, and that's good, but you want to make sure that if you get taken onto a spaceship, that they are human Christed beings of light, men and women from spiritual planetary systems, not just anybody. That's the only other thing you need to do is just
That's
be
that.
more
Then that's the knowledge that I definitely have to
yeah.
start
I'm just
studying
helping you
because
there.
I really don't know.
Yeah, well,
No.
that's why I'm glad you're here. So you
Yeah.
want to definitely make sure it's not anybody taking you into a spaceship. You want to, and this goes for everybody out there watching this all over the world. You want to learn how to meditate, and when you meditate, say, I only will allow myself to be in contact with positive space people beyond Earth who are Christed beings of light. If they're not, then you don't want to have contact. And if you use that intention, I think you'll have, like, for example, I work with the Ashtar Command. I'm from Mars originally, which is a planet of 10 to 15 million inhabitants. I'm a
Yes.
starseed. I remember where I come from. So not only am I a UFO talk show host, which is different than any other UFO talk show host, I'm a contactee. I have a lot of information. I don't get diluted with other websites and other people's fear-based stuff.
Yes.
I absolutely know what I'm talking about, and that's why I can help people like yourself. And I'm glad you're able not to be afraid. But I just want to make sure you're making contact with positive space people, and that to me is the only thing I want to make sure of. Other than that,
Okay.
you're on the right track. Just download
Well,
the app.
maybe you can give me your opinion, through a message or something, and let me know, because at the
Yeah,
end, I mean, if no, I don't want to invite anybody, anything like that. That's why they asked me. They were like, "Hey, don't do that," and I was like,
right,
I didn't understand that
right.
at that moment. This was like a year ago, and I
A
didn't
year ago,
understand it. Now that I do my research on it, I'm like, oh,
right.
okay. I don't want to
And all
talk
you have
about it
to,
right
and
now,
all you have to
but
do really
I
is
understand
just
what you were telling me right now. Absolutely,
yeah.
they got a lot
It's
of
just a little.
dimensions.
It's just a little tweaking up of what you're doing. You
Yes.
got the laser thing. What you want to just do is when you download the app, it's called the C5 app. Do you have an Android phone or an iPhone?
Now listen, I just got the laser. The one I'll show you the one with the laser. But the
Yeah,
rest have been through like literally no laser. All
yeah.
that has happened like literally just me like sitting outside and
Oh, okay, cool. Now,
yeah.
do you have an Android phone or
No, I have an
an
iPhone.
iPhone?
iPhone.
iPhone. So go on the Apple app and look up the C5 app. It's like 9.99, and it's one time. You download it, read the protocol. That'll help you instantaneously be able to do this the right way.
Okay.
And the only other thing I would say is when you're doing meditation, just and you're using the app, and you might interact with people in my audience here. I think there are some people here who are in Louisiana. Get to know each other. Create a
Yes.
group down there and get to know each other. I'm all
Yeah,
about
we
community and people come together.
we promote positivity over here.
Oh,
Everything
there you go.
negative,
There you
yeah,
go.
that's out the door. Yeah, absolutely. So
All
thank you.
right.
I really appreciate you hearing my story. And if you get a
Oh
chance to
man, it was
look at my
great.
videos, and yeah, man, I mean, let me know, because again, I don't want to open up a dimension I don't need.
Right, right. Now you and you won't. I'm glad you came on here. I gave you some good advice. Get the
Thank you.
C5 app, download it, and we'll talk again, I'm sure. But now
Absolutely.
you'll be able to make sure you're connecting with spiritual space people instead of just anybody out there in space, which is a
I hope maybe that all that I didn't see all that because of my mother's passing.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that has something to do with it. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, my
Thank you, boss.
friend.
I'm gonna download that app, and I'll let you know in the future if anything else happens.
All right, sounds great. And you have a great night. I appreciate it.
You too. Thank you so
All right,
much.
take care. Yep.
All right,
All
bye
right.
bye.
We gotta do this here. And I don't know. I think my friend was on earlier. Friends with Furries. I think she was on earlier tonight. Was anybody on her live? Was she live? Any of my friends here uh, on? Let's see here. I don't know if anyone's on. Annie, the Rescue Land. Was she on tonight? Annie. Annie. Okay, so did she go off because she was tired, or was she? I just came back. So did she go off planet, or she's on? She didn't go off planet. Okay. Sometimes I try to read into whether she goes off planet or not. So she was on earlier tonight. Okay. I saw her on. Her green light was on, so I just wanted to check. She did the other night. I know that. Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, the app is. I'll type it for everybody. It's called the CE5 app. C5. That is the name of the app. And it's available to everybody who's watching my show. If you go on your Apple, you can download. Oh, no problem, Len. You can go on your Apple phone and download on Apple. Go on Apple and you can download the C5 app. If you have an Android phone, you can also do it. iPads can do it too. Yep, on an iPad you can download it there too. Whether you have an iPad or a phone, either way you can do it. We're coming up to near 1 a.m. in the morning. I'd like to do one more interview. And so please tell me in sentences who you are, what your, if you've had any physical contact with space people, and if you've been, interacting with space beings. I want to hear your story. So I want to do one more story. And who has a story that's not been told yet? on the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. This is Encounters. We're with you nightly, most nights, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. So let's see what we have here. I know we have 312 people here, and I'm sure out of that, some of you are having direct encounters with visitations, with space people, or something going on in that realm. We don't get into the paranormal, so forget that. But if you're over 18, no kids, no drinking, no smoking, no paranormal discussion, strictly on the spiritual UFO area, from contactees to abductions to mer people, fairies, all those areas, that's what we cover here. And also things like the Agartha network, the inner advanced civilizations that are within our planet. We get into all that. Yeah, that's true, AK. You can modify it. Yeah, and that's what we did. We modified it with our Ashtar command protocol. We kind of mixed it in. And really, it's just basically guiding. The protocol is really a way to guide people, but you can definitely integrate it, which we did with the Ashtar command protocol. Camilla likes you love the inner world stuff. Yeah, we get into the Agartha network, which is the subterranean cities that are within the earth of the space people. We've talked about that before. We get into all those things. We're coming up to about 1 a.m. in the morning, and I'd like to try to do one more person that's been having visitations. I love people's visitation stories. If you come out of the closet and share your story, that would be great. Roseanne, thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate it. We do have 8 more hats to go. Roseanne, thank you for that. The W. I appreciate that gift as well. Tar. Corey says, I still have them coming down every night. Thank you, Roseanne, for the gift. Kit Kat. Tar, Kit Kat. Roseanne, thank you for the GG. We appreciate it. Hey, Sage. Good to see you again. Hope all is well down your way. How come you didn't want to say hello to Astro Command when they were coming through? Just curious. I knew they were there. I said hello to them telepathically, so I didn't really need to. I was more focused on my guest, Tahar Roseanne. So it's very welcome. Yeah. So no problem with the curious question, Sandra. We were communicating constantly to the point where they were even in the room, but I did hear them. Hey, Tom. Hope you're having a great night too, Tom. Welcome. Let's see here. I think we have a guest, possibly. Let's see who we have here. Mark Allen. Mark Allen. We're going to see who Mark Allen is. Mark Allen, we'll bring him up as our last guest on the Encounter Show. All over the world, everyone watching Encounters, #1 spiritual UFO talk show. Mark Allen, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I like your show. I've been watching it now for a couple days.
Oh, great. And we're glad to have you on the show. I'm on radio for 21 years, and I started this show up in 2023. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark, and what your experiences have been with the UFO ET area.
Well, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and when I was I'm 55 years old now. And when I was very young, I don't know if you remember the Kecksburg episode over the Kecksburg Mountains in Pennsylvania. They made a documentary on it.
I met the person that was involved in that.
Okay, perfect. So when I was young, my mom, to give you a little background, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and I'm from the mountains of Pennsylvania, which isn't far from Kecksburg. Well, years after I heard about the Kecksburg incidents, I was in shock because during that time, my mom woke me up at around 2:30 in the morning, telling me that she saw a spaceship outside. And I was young, and I remember I had just got done watching Star Wars. It just came out in the movie theater. And all these different things they were talking about were happening over Pennsylvania. And I was kind of dumbfounded because years later, because I just really, at that time, you really don't know what to think when your mom tells you that.
Yeah.
You I guess you kind of, you put it aside because I was at the age where I really didn't understand anything. And then
Okay.
years later, I found out that this incident happened in Kecksburg, and there were multiple people seeing multiple ships over Pennsylvania
yeah.
in different parts of the mountains. So,
Wow.
like Dr. Greer said, there is so much evidence out there, it just can't be ignored. There really is.
You can't ignore it, you know?
No, and there's something going on, and I hear you talk, telepathically, and I think we've been brainwashed for so long when it comes to God and other things, and the UFO experience and what I've seen and what I've talked to other people about have really opened my mind to a different idea about what life is really about. And
Yeah.
there's a fine line between, obviously religion and then people who are into religion also that believe in UFOs, because there's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Is dichotomy the right word?
I mean, between the people, like religious people that I've met religious people that believe in life elsewhere. They believe that there's ultra terrestrials, and that they're a grouping of people within the religious community. They're not a large part of it, but they are there. They're kind of like going against their own religions that don't really talk ever about it.
Exactly.
But they are breaking out of it. So they're like trying to liberate themselves from what they've been brainwashed to believe in religion. And on my show, I've always told people, get out of religion if you want to understand what's happening in the universe, and the fact that there are many space people from many different planetary systems that have been here for billions of years visiting the Earth before we were even existing. So, yeah.
And I think one of the, honestly, growing up in religion, I was brought up a Catholic. I went to church almost every day. I went to a Catholic school almost my whole life. When you get older, you realize that, and I hate to say this, but most religion is nothing but brainwashing, and it prevents people from becoming free thinkers. It really does. And you can go out and obviously this, you can go out at any night at any place in the country and look up in the sky, and you're going to see something if it's clear. You're going to see something. If you take the time and you go, like I lived in Vegas for a long time. I went to dark spots, and if you look up, you're going to see. You just got to look up and ask. Like you said, I believe these extraterrestrials are trying to talk to us telepathically, like you said. There is some kind of telepathy going on there for people that want to listen, but we have to open our mind to that.
Right, and there's a lot of distortion on Earth with transmitters transmitting 3D transmissions from TV channels, radio, FM radio, AM radio. We're so bombarded with all this garbage that we don't take time to just get out into a quiet space and listen to the space people trying to communicate with us. Because they are trying to, they're trying to communicate with us in many different levels, folks. They want to do it telepathically. That's when you have a relationship and you've made the contact, you'll have a telepathic communications. In terms of contact, my friend April, over 44, 45, 46 times in northern Vermont, who I met through my show here, come to find out that we have a relationship on the spaceship, the space people. Her parents are on the spaceship. My parents are on a spaceship. And I have two sisters and a brother. And she has siblings. And there's a group of five of us here that in less than a year will be going off planet. And we're going to physically be together as a group of five. And this is a true story. So I don't know how much you know about the story, but you'll learn more about it as you're watching our show here. There's a lot going on here regarding contact in the next year and a half. And there's going to be a lot of stuff going down on this show where it's going to be disseminated, the information as well.
Well, you got to follow from me, and I will be checking on you periodically, and I like the show, and we need to have a lot more conversation about this. And when you talk,
Absolutely.
and when you talk about, the distortion that we have with all the communication systems we have going on Earth, it makes a lot of sense, and it would make sense that it would be harder for them to contact us.
Yeah.
That would even make more. It makes more sense, And what
Yeah,
we
because
really go ahead.
we're just being bombarded with all this stuff. And look, there's billions of people on Earth, right? And you all know that who are watching this, that people go about their day doing things, paying their bill, paying their taxes. They're so bombarded with Earth-based stuff, they don't ever have the time to think about or even meditate to think that maybe there's something else going on here that we just don't know about. I mean, people here know about it because you're watching my show. But just say if you never knew about anything, you're watching Good Morning America or Jeopardy or something, it's a diversion from being able to connect with the truth, which is that we've always had space people from different planetary systems coming to Earth for billions of years, not 10 years, not 70 years ago, forever and ever and ever. But on our current human history, we have to look at it from our human history here. We are the current human population of Earth, but there are space people that have been coming here forever.
That makes total sense. 100%. Absolutely.
Well, Mark, I want to thank you for sharing the Kettsburg incident. We did a whole show on radio about that many years ago on my station, my NPR station, and the gentleman, I forgot, he has glasses on. I remember talking to him. It was a great thing about the acorn type craft that they found in the woods, and they hauled it out with a flatbed. It was very interesting. Multiple witnesses too.
Well, the government has probably found so many things that they're hiding from us, I can't even imagine,
Yeah.
with the Smithsonian and everything else. So it runs so deep, we'll never know. And Dr. Greer, I think he really got his feet into what's going on. And I follow him too. And some of the stuff that he's come up with is really, I hate to say it, but it's out of this world.
Yeah. And we're taking this person out, telling us who to vote for. We don't get into politics here, so bye-bye that person. This is not the political show here. The thing people need to know is we don't have to. I've told two people this before on my show. If you want disclosure, it's not going to come from the newly formed last year UFO group in the Pentagon. If you want disclosure, you're not getting it from the Ministry of Defense. If you want disclosure, the Chinese government's not going to do it, or even the French government or any government. It's not going to come from the governments. So here's the deal. On this show, if you watch this show, you're going to find out about disclosure. In about less than a year, I'm pretty sure of it, I'll be going physically off planet. And I'm going to be doing something, and I'll mention it for a lot of new listeners here. But there's a whole story here that you can make into a movie, but what I'm about to tell you. Now, you're either going to believe what I'm telling you, or you're going to say it's not possible. But it is. It's going to happen. So my background is broadcasting. I've been in radio since my college days. I've been involved in talking about UFO area related things for over 21 years. I've done some TV for a short period of time, but mostly radio and NPR radio. I have full freedom to do what I want. I work with a group called the Ashtar Command, which are spiritual beings, men and women that come from other planetary systems, sort of like a United Nations of galactic worlds, if you can understand that, folks. So they are coming back. They're coming back to reconnect with the people of this planet. And so my friend April, who some of you don't even know her, Friends with Fairies 1111, we met last year on TikTok. She was one of my guests. I come to find out she had connections with the fairies, and she does. Not only does she have connections with fairies, she's taken off planet by the Ashtar Command on her property in northern Vermont near the Canadian border. I find out that I have two sisters and a brother on a spaceship, and she has family, and we've been friends off planet. Our families have been friends. There's a whole story here for years. I mean, for a long time. Okay, so she's been off planet for a number of years. She asked them, there's a council. So if you understand about the council, this council would be the council overseeing all of the galactic levels of the Ashtar Command. The council meets. She suggests that they have me be the spokesperson for the Ashtar Command when contact happens. So for those that don't know the story, I'm trying to relay it to you the best I can. I'll be going on a spaceship. I'll be physically going, they'll take me from my house. I'll go right into the spaceship. And when the time is right, whenever this is going to happen, I will actually be broadcasting at a control board on the spaceship. And at the control board, I guess they have the technology to overtake all transmissions on the Earth. So what will definitely be happening is I'll be broadcasting with 4 Ashtar people standing behind me as I'm sitting at this control board. We'll be broadcasting through every transmitter of every TV network on planet Earth. Okay, some of you don't know this yet, and I don't assume everybody does, but I'm sharing Mark with Mark and the rest of the audience because I'm not assuming that everybody knows what's going to happen here. Now, Dr. Stephen Greer, his people have been trying to get in touch with him to let him know that this is going to happen. I have contacts in the community of well-known people in the UFO community, but this is going to happen. And when it does happen, I have no idea what I'm supposed to say, but the council decided on having me represent the planet Earth, and I'm very humble. I have no ego. I do the mission work. I'm doing what I do to expose the truth, and I think and plus I'm connected. I have family on the ship that are biological cosmic family, 2 sisters and a brother. My physical body here is human. My body on the ship is in stasis. So if you know what stasis is, everybody has a space body, a human space body on a ship that's in stasis. When you physically leave this body, you can go back to your body in stasis, wake up, and not have to come back to Earth, or you can come back to Earth if you wish to do that. There's a whole story behind this, and I'm not saying that everybody understands it, and that's okay if you don't understand it. But there's going to be a point in time in the next year and a half when I will be taken off planet, and I will be speaking to the whole planet, like billions of people on this planet. I will be speaking on some sort of a system, and you'll be able to see me on every network all over the world as they take over every transmitter on this planet. And that will be happening most likely in less than a year and a half.
Wow. That's going to be amazing. That's going to absolutely be amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be something that's, I don't know if the world's really ready for it, but I can't wait.
Yeah. No, I'm sharing this because I have a lot of new people watching my show, and once in a while I'm going to share it. It's relatively new. Wow. Okay. It's relatively new. Thank you for all the gifts. It's relatively new. I only found about this in less than a month. She went on the ship. She was taken on the ship, met with the council, and the council decided that I should be able to speak before the people of Earth. I'd be the best representative of that. And I'm very humble. I didn't go, getting a big head about it. It's just part of the mission work. It's just part of what I do. And I can't wait to do it. I don't know what I'm going to be saying, but that's going to happen before we have major contact on the planet. I will speak through some sort of monitoring system that will take over all the transmitters. They have the ability to knock out every transmitter, take over all the broadcast stations, cable, whatever. They'll be able to take over all the stations will be taken over.
Wow. I can't wait. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I appreciate your time, and I'm going to stop in again, so please remember me.
Yeah. You kidding me? I'm not going to forget. Hey, Mark, thanks for being on here, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good day. See you, brother.
You too.
All right,
man. All right. And we had Mark on here. I'm like really motivated here. Let's see. Omark 2223. Omark. I'm going to bring Omark on here. And you're watching Encounters. This is the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. I'm also with NPR Radio for 20 years, WACU-FM. Omark, welcome to the show. Omark, are you there?
How you doing?
We're doing good. And tell us,
can you hear me?
whereabouts are you? I can hear you well. Whereabouts are you?
In Texas.
Okay, very
South
good.
Texas.
Very good to have you in South Texas. Welcome to the most popular UFO show on social media. Tell us about your background and in terms of UFO ET stuff. What did you want to share with us today on the show or this morning?
Well, I experienced of seeing what I know, what I've seen. I saw it in South Texas in 2008, and it was around the Brownsville area, where the new SpaceX is at in those areas. Okay. I was working down there at a shipyard called Amphels. Okay. And I heard a lady earlier, she came on 2 days ago, that I heard her say that there was a light that was following me. Yeah, this was during the day, okay? And when I experienced it, it was in the day, it wasn't at night. Okay, it was in the latter part of the evening. All right, and they have sightings where they've seen these, and if you look them up, I guess on Google, you can actually find out exactly, where these locations are at and where they've seen these sightings. I didn't know that until I was told. So I started, what do you call it, checking it out, and it was true. So there was a sighting in 2008, in approximately about March. But what I'm getting at is that I was asking you, and I'm asking other people as well. I've seen a ship that was a cylinder, like in a cylinder shape.
Yeah.
It had small fins in the front. It was about a mile long. And I'm not trying to, I'm trying to sum it up and I'm trying to understand. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
And the reason I can say that, because we were coming off the freeway and traffic was stopped in the middle of the stop. They're gonna have a wreck on the freeway. So we were,
You're losing your audio. Can you repeat again? You're saying traffic stopped on a freeway, but your audio is a little bit low.
how about, can you hear me now?
No, now you sound better. Go ahead. Repeat what you were just saying.
All right. Well, the traffic on the freeway was all stopped because they were looking straight up. And then I looked and I could see it, but then I actually saw it moving and hovering. It was not any kind of sound. It was like in a pretty much like a humming, but low
Humming.
frequency sound, like a kind of static. But I was actually got off my vehicle and I was standing right beneath it. Not just myself, there was other people on the freeway as well. Okay. But the traffic was stopped, and you were looking right up, and it was right above.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Did the cylinder object have any color to it?
It did. It had like a light bluish neon. Okay. I don't know if people are actually understanding the color, but I know I wasn't the only one that saw it.
Right.
There was other people there witnessing it.
When you were watching it, Mark, with other people, what I always like to ask what the energy felt like when you see a spaceship. Sometimes if it's a icky feeling and you feel terrible, you feel sick, you want to get away from it. How did you feel when you were watching this bluish object, cylinder object? Did you feel like okay? I mean, what was going through your mind?
You're in awe. You're in awe. You're pretty much. I didn't feel fear. There was no fear. You were just in awe that something so big and extravagant actually exists. Okay.
How
And
big do you think how big was the object? People are asking, how big was it?
I'm telling you, like I mentioned it again. It was about a mile long.
Mile long.
Yeah, it was.
That's amazing. So I just going to answer that person's question in the audience. So
It's big.
everyone that's watching this, he saw a spaceship, cylinder shape, bluish color ship, a mile long. A mile.
That's correct.
And had
On the-
multiple witnesses too, by the way, too, right?
Right. There was people that were standing right next to me with outside their vehicles, staring at what I was looking at as well. Okay. Here's the other thing: is that on the front of it, it had like windows, but they were like made out of steel. But it had like looked like something like a cockpit. But underneath, if you look at the old glass-drawn boats, they have like ripples beneath it.
Right,
It had
right.
ripples with wings on the sides of it.
Wow.
On the front of that window, it had like on the left side, it had a black stain. I know because I work with steel. So I immediately saw and understood what that stain was. It's created through salt. So my question is, have you been told of anything in that? I've seen it once on a TikTok that actually showed it. Okay. What I had seen. And I sent it to my brother, and he said, "You've been talking about this for years." And I said, "There it is. This is what I seen."
So you have pictures, right?
I do not have the pictures. These were came out on TikTok. What I
TikTok.
do, what I do, yes, they had seen them. Okay, I gotta go back and find out who had it or what. But because I sent it to off my other phone, off my iPhone.
Right.
What I'm.
So
That's not the only ship that I've seen. The other,
that's one. So you saw other ships. What year was that ship? And then tell us when some of the other ships that you actually have witnessed.
the other one was a fluorescent orange in color, but kind of like a blimp. Now
Okay.
that one I have a video of, but when
Mm-hmm.
you put it on the camera, it does not actually show the actual ship. It shows the colors of it,
Right.
and, and it shows the jets that are trying to, go around it and follow it, and they would just
Right.
move and leave them in the dust.
So there were military aircraft trying to intercept this ship, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, of course, our military does that. They're sent up there, and then when you ask them, if you go to the Pentagon and say, "Did you folks have anything to do with trying to follow this ship over in this part of Texas?" And they'll be in denial from the day you ask them that question. There's going to be complete denial, and I just know this to be true. So, and what year was that? When did that happen?
the first one was in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Second one was approximately in about 2012,
Mm-hmm.
about 2012, I believe. Yes.
And are you currently having, since 2012, have you had any other sightings up through 2024?
No.
No, not since then.
No.
Well, it's pretty impressive, the story that you told us about what you did have. And you didn't feel any like fear or anything when you had these sightings?
No. No. As a matter of fact, my ex-wife was witnessing it with me. She was standing next to me, and I
Oh, your
and
ex-wife was with you. Okay.
right, and you could hear her describing what she was seeing and the injustice that the camera was doing. When I
Yeah.
put when I put the phone camera on it, you could see you could see a beam, like there
Wow.
was a light there. Okay, but when you would
Hmm.
move the camera, you could see the actual ship.
Wow.
There were, and the same thing with it. There was no sound. It was just a light static hum.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, Omar, I appreciate you coming up here. You're my last guest for the night until tomorrow night at 11 when we start all over again with encounters. Any last words that you want to share with us on that?
Well, what I'm saying is, it's kind of hard to even come on a show like this to even do this because this is not what I do. It's not even close to it because of my profession, and I'm one of those like everybody else. I got to see it to believe it. Pretty
Well,
much,
you actually did see it more than once, and now hopefully you believe it.
I believe it. I
There you
know.
go. There you
I,
go.
I know what I've seen, and nobody can take that, and nobody can change my mind that it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
And as well as I'm talking to you in voice, it does exist.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
You know,
asking,
and
I'm asking you on questions. I want you to help me understand what I've seen and
well,
why.
I can answer your questions. The first one, which was a bluish cylinder object a mile long, was not one of our ships, or wasn't one of our reverse engineered ships. I want to ask you about the first craft that you did see. Excuse me, that was a mile long. How long was it viewed, and did it leave, or did it disappear?
No, no, this is how it happened. We were standing out there. This is the fear was not looking at it and watching it. It was afterwards. All right. So we're looking at this ship. It turned and it pivoted like instantly, facing northeast in the sky, and it started moving slowly towards the northeast in the sky, away from us.
Hmm.
And it just, from one zap, like a zap of a light, it took off.
It took off. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it moved slowly, and then like a blink of an eye, a zap of a light, it disappeared. Yeah,
Yes.
it probably went into another dimension, or it went out of our atmosphere back into space.
Okay. I stayed staring at the direction that it went to.
Hmm.
Okay. In the northeast, and I was watching out in the distance. Explained to me when it took seconds to disappear at the speed of light,
Right.
and it something in the sky opened up, and when it opened and I was looking at it, there was a bright fluorescent opening where it went through.
Yeah,
Wow.
it went through a what you call a cosmic doorway. So when these big motherships and stuff come through, and even into our Earth's atmosphere, when they're leaving a cosmic doorway, it's like if you go through over a bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, you have to go over the bridge to get to the other side into San Francisco. You go over the bridge. So look at it this way: a galactic bridge opens up, and the ship goes right in through that bright opening, and it's gone. It's basically a galactic opening, and that's beyond human comprehension, but that does exist.
Okay, because exactly in a blink of an eye, it opened and it closed shut.
Yeah, it was a door opening, a galactic door opening for the spaceship, which they opened up, and then they just zipped out of our dimension. That's it. That's what happened.
All right. So it was the afterwards, and I'll tell you, like it was yesterday. I started seeing red marquees, white marquees, black marquees, white escapes, and they all got in front of all the vehicles that we were at. When we were stopped on the freeway, they came in front of us.
Wow.
So I bolted down off the side of the grass and the median to get on the feeder road off the freeway.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't want to be questioned. I didn't want to be stopped.
Right.
I took off going towards the checkpoint, which is miles away past Raymondville. And it caught up to me, whatever cars they had, and that's because I was, I was getting out. I didn't want to be stopped.
Right.
When I looked back, I saw people being stopped, and they were waving people off like, "Stay right where you're at." Not me. I took off
Yeah.
before, and and I don't want to say this because it might, the person that was in those vehicles had a different color. They had a different color and skin texture.
Okay. I think what you're saying is that they looked like they weren't from here.
You said it.
I knew exactly. I've been around the block a few times here, so I knew exactly what you're alluding to. So when they didn't look like they were from here, did you notice? Did they notice you as you noticed them? Can you get into that bit?
That word that you keep on using, telepathy.
Yeah.
They speak to you. They're speaking to you without saying anything,
Right.
and
So that
it's something that you know that they're doing to pull over without doing signs, but they're just looking at you. They're not even waving their hands at you. They're just looking at you on the side profile when they're driving.
yeah.
So my instinct was not to look anymore because once I
Right.
saw eye contact, I looked away. Not because I was in fear. I just knew that whatever it was stronger than I.
So these beings, they look like they were human, were in a vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So were they there? Was that at the same time the spaceship was there
No,
too?
no, they arrived later.
Later.
They arrived when the spaceship was already gone. Like it was already like turned, and it
Right.
was from the northeast, and
Right.
it bolted. Okay, right before it bolted, they were already in front of all the traffic where I was at,
Okay.
holding people back, waving them to stay right where they were at. They were off their vehicles.
Right. So it sounds like these were space people that might have been from that 1 mile wide spaceship that came off the ship, and for whatever reason they're here and they're amongst us.
You said it.
That's what it sounds like to me.
You said it.
I kind of already knew that. Interesting. So, do you think they're still living in that region where you are? That they're just blended in with the regular folk?
In my seeing of what I saw, I believe because of the stain, of the metal stain it had in the front of the ship, I believe those things are underwater.
Underwater. Okay.
I believe,
Interesting.
I believe they're underwater because the shape of the front of that ship, it's not just like an aerodynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is used, that shape is used for aquatic.
So, is there any water near where you are, or is that
It's right,
It's
it's right by the Gulf of Mexico.
So this was in the Gulf of Mexico area that this thing happened, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that is true. Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico, in the depths of the ocean there is in the Gulf, there's definitely a major ET base in that water there somewhere.
Well, I'm sure that is of all regions and of all areas in the world and in the United States. Why did SpaceX build their
Yeah,
space station in Brownsville?
yeah. No, who knows, right? I'm not too. I
I'm
know
not.
about SpaceX. I kind of keep away from Elon Musk, but you got to wonder, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, you're a great guest. We'll have to have you on again. It's getting kind of late. It's at 1:31 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast, and you're now behind us. So I want to, any final words for tonight?
And I was intrigued, and I just started watching, started following you, and I started listening to a lot of the people. So I know that what they have to say is I'm not the only one that's seen things
Mm,
or seen these ships or different
yeah.
ships. So
Hmm.
I appreciate, everybody, and anybody, if they've seen what I saw, to, you know, encourage them to come on and
Oh,
and
yeah.
and back what I said, because it was hard for me to even all these years to hold this and not ever say anything about it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be healthy. I'm so glad you did come on here to the number one spiritual UFO talk show, Encounters. All right, Mark, I want to, say good evening to you for being here. I'm going to let you down, and we're going to have some final comments, and we'll be on tomorrow night at 11 o'clock Wednesday evening for another edition of Encounters, a show that's out of this world. So let me bring Omar down. Omar, thanks for being on here.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, let's do this. And it's that time. It's about 1:32. I want to thank all our guests for being here. This show will be on my YouTube channel tomorrow, Astro Command Spaceship News. Please send your gifts and your Venmoing me. If a Venmo, $5 or $10 will be fine. Just go to my main profile page and press the link for my Venmo, and you can make your donations there. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's been another great show of Encounters, a show that's out of this world. We'll catch you tomorrow night. Everybody sleep well. Okay, why donate? Toshi Mooncake. So you must be new to TikTok. So on TikTok, unlike Facebook, you can donate. A person who does a show or a TikTok broadcast of some sort can ask for donations, and it's encouraged. Unlike on Facebook, I think, oh, what's going on with Facebook, or Instagram, I don't know. But on here, the person who moderates their show or does a show can ask for people to donate. It helps support the work I'm doing. So if you say, oh, I want to donate, you can go to my Venmo account and do $5 or $10 donation. It's totally up to you. It's not something you need to do. It's something that is promoted, that I promote on my show. So it's part of the whole TikTok atmosphere. As you learn more about TikTok, you'll have incentives if you're doing something like I'm doing to have people donate or do things like that. It's all natural on TikTok for that to be the case. Good question. So I always encourage donations because I do a lot of work here and I think it's valuable. If some people don't think it's valuable, then they don't have to donate a thing. If they think it's valuable, then they can donate whatever they want, or do TikTok gifts or whatever. So that's why we do it. All right. And I want to say good evening, and to everybody else, a good morning, wherever you are. We'll catch you again tomorrow night at 11 o'clock for another great show of Encounters. Take care, everybody.